Chapter 401. Changes in the Immortal Realm. Up until now, Zhongli had always believed that the continent of Mingzhong was transformed by the ancestor of the Dao sect. It was only now he understood, this continent was transformed by a deity of the Immortal Realm. The standing of the deity of the Immortal Realm within the Immortal World needs no further explanation. He was one of the top brass in the Immortal Realm and had successfully completed the three corpses beheading method, achieving boundless Dao. Despite this, the cruel truth struck Zhongli that the deity of the Immortal Realm, known as the foundation of all Dao, had died. He picked up the stele and softly recited the contents inscribed on it. The sound resonated above the dead body of the deity. Survivors of the Immortal Realm, if you can read this stele, it means you've defeated Ah Ching, my mount. There has been great chaos in the Immortal Realm. The heavenly Dao has developed spirituality and wants to annihilate all beings in the 10,000 realms. I tried to stop it, but I suffered a catastrophic defeat. The thoughtless heavenly Dao developed its own thoughts, reversing the cultivation methods. Those below the immortals in the Immortal Realm all went mad and died. The earth immortals couldn't fully comprehend the heavenly Dao, couldn't completely meld with it, yet they were no longer mortal. Caught between humans and immortals, their minds got jumbled, they devoured each other, turning into incomprehensible monsters. Only the heavenly immortals, attuned to the heavenly Dao, managed to escape hardship, but also fell under the command of the heavenly Dao. Left with no choices, I led your ancestors to escape to this world. Those on the same Dao as us had become enemies, and they pursued us relentlessly. I fought back, but they were too powerful. I was grievously injured, defeated, and managed to escape here. I transformed myself into a continent to provide a refuge for you. They wouldn't dare kill you directly then, but they might corrupt my Ah Ching, to which I could no longer resist. I'm sorry. During the escape, I shattered all the ladders leading to immortality, severing the connection between the Immortal Realm and the 10,000 realms. Perhaps because I was in a hurry, some fragments of the ladder might have been left behind. Do not gather the fragments of the ladder leading to immortality and venture into the Immortal Realm. There are no immortals in the Immortal Realm. If you come across an immortal, flee. Remember. Remember, remember. With every verse Zhongli recited, his heart trembled. As he repeated the text on the stele, his gaze eventually rested on one line. The heavenly Dao has developed spirituality and wants to annihilate all beings in the 10,000 realms. He had thought of many possibilities, but had never expected the truth to be this. When something receives sufficient spiritual energy and essence of the sun and moon or other materials that have spirituality, it can acquire spirituality and thus develop a new soul. An immortal artifact can generate a new soul. The mysterious secret realm's elder dream cure can generate a new soul. Red dust immortal's body can create a new soul. The heavenly Dao would naturally have this potential. From the scriptures of the merpeople's ancestors, Zhongli learned that the ancestor of the Dao sect may be one of the three corpses of the ancestor of the Immortal Realm, which puzzled him. If the ancestor of the Dao sect is one of the three corpses crucial for the ancestor of the Immortal Realm's confirmation of the Dao, then how could he have perished due to the internal struggle of the Immortal Realm? This would be an act of hindering the ancestor of the Immortal Realm's confirmation of the Dao, and the ancestor of the Immortal Realm would surely protect his three corpses. From then on, Zhongli began to suspect that there was a problem with the Immortal Realm, suspecting that the struggle in the Immortal Realm was intense, and the ancestor of the Immortal Realm was unable to take care of other things. But he never thought that there was indeed a problem with the Immortal Realm, it's just that this problem far exceeded his expectations. It was not the ancestor of the Dao sect who died, but the ancestor of the Immortal Realm. So that's how it is, that's how it is. Zhongli almost didn't dare to believe this answer. The revelations and sights of today were too shocking, overturning all his suspicions. Zhongli respectfully bowed to the corpse of the Immortal Dao sect in honor of this pioneer cultivator. Upon learning that the ladder to immortality was destroyed, the elites at the Transcendence Tribulation stage flocked to the Dao sect, asking Elder Changkun for guidance. Elder Changkun, as the only remaining immortal in the land of Jojo, far exceeding others in both experience and cultivation. Elder Changkun waved his hand, remaining silent. His face was weathered, aging rapidly, and he no longer had the leisure to smile and play. Let me think about it first. With this dull reply, Elder Changkun returned to his cave dwelling with a heavy heart and faltering steps. As soon as he returned to his cave, Elder Changkun laid out a grand array, isolating any chance of outside observation. Like a puppet that had lost its power, Changkun was devoid of strength and collapsed on the ground. Facing the direction of the Dao sect, he cried a heart-wrenching cry. Master, master, master. The cultivation of an earth immortal seemed utterly useless at this moment. Master, has the heavenly Tao truly developed in the worst possible way? Elder Chong Kun slowly picked up a wooden box. Inside it was a rare ancient tome he had obtained from the immortal realm. He still remembered a few years ago when he went to see his master, who told him that he would soon become one with the ancestor of the immortal realm and become the strongest entity in the immortal realm. When that time came, his master planned to open a session preaching his cultivation insights. Elder Chong Kun prepared the ancient tome as a gift for his master. A few months ago, he went back to the immortal realm to see his master again. By then, his master had already achieved 3 corpses into one, inheriting the cultivation, insights, and memories of the 3 corpses. One could say his master was both the ancestor of the Tao sect and the ancestor of the immortal realm. Traces, and even sources, of thousands of cultivation methods could be found in his master. The Tao, which immortals could not understand in their entire lives, revolved around his master, appearing and disappearing. Every movement of his master seemed to be determined by the Tao, and his actions were natural. His master seemed to be standing at the end of the immortal Tao, with a perfect cultivation. Elder Chong Kun was happy for his master, asked when to open the session of preaching, but his master's expression was grave, his words ambiguous, only mentioning that the heavenly Tao seemed to have changed and could possibly develop spirituality. As the ancestor of the Tao sect, who could craft the top-ranked immortal artifact, the Yin-Yang Heaven Seal, at the Transcendence Tribulation stage, he was the most familiar and sensitive to how spirituality could develop. Ordinarily speaking, the heavenly Tao developing spirituality was supposed to be a fortunate event. The heavenly Tao was formed by the gather of beliefs of beings, and such heavenly Tao would only protect all beings. But his master still felt something was amiss. No matter how much he calculated, he could not determine whether this was good or bad. His master said, before it was known whether it was good or bad for the heavenly Tao to develop spirituality, they should not hold the sermon or reveal the fact that his 3 corpses have combined. Chong Kun received the order, anxiously returned to Jojo to wait for the result. Today, the result was finally revealed, and it was the worst possible outcome his master had been worried about. With one glance, Chong Kun could tell that the giant hand belonged to his master. Having spent tens of thousands of years together, Chong Kun had never seen his master injured. In Jojo, the ancestor of the Tao sect equated to being unparalleled, creating top-ranked immortal artifacts with just the cultivation at the Transcendence Tribulation stage. In the immortal realm, regardless of whether it was the ancestor of the Tao sect or the ancestor of the immortal realm, he was impervious to all methods. Not to mention getting injured, not even his robes had ever been made dirty. Now that his master had suffered such serious injuries, it could only mean that his master had failed. He was defeated by either the heavenly Tao, or more likely, by several powerful beings at a level with his master in the immortal realm, defeated thoroughly, with no hope of turning the tide. Elder Chong Kun speculated that his master broke the ladder to immortality to prevent the immortal realm from locating the positions of the 10,000 realms, disconnecting the direct connection with the heavenly Tao. This method could only delay the invasion from the immortal realm, it couldn't solve the problem thoroughly. Elder brothers, elder sisters. If his master ended up like this, it was even less likely that his elder fellow apprentices would survive. Elder Chong Kun thought about every moment he had spent with his master and fellow apprentices, grief welled up in him. Chapter 402, The Origin of the Extraterrestrial Heavenly Demon. Long Eyebrow had been in seclusion for several decades in his cave dwelling. When he emerged, his face had aged, but he was glowing with vitality, as lively as ever. A group of Tribulation Crossing cultivators, who had been waiting for a long time, gathered around him as soon as they saw him. Their anxious waiting for Long Eyebrow to provide answers was a comfort to their hearts. Master, whose hand was that, and is the immortal Ascension stairway still there? Will the immortal realm aid us? As Tribulation Crossing cultivators, they could only sense the location of the immortal Ascension stairway and relied on it to establish a faint connection with the immortal realm, as they couldn't see the stairway. When the giant hand reached out towards the stairway, they neither sensed the existence of the stairway nor the connection with the immortal realm, leaving them in despair, where every second passed was pure agony. Just as Long Eyebrow was about to say something, he saw a crack appear in the sky, as a fearsome alien creature emerged from the broken void, stirring up the terror on Earth with its aura. This Earth immortal creature appeared to be stitched together from various beings, a human torso, snake scales, pig's feet, bat wings, spouting nonsense in a language nobody could understand. On this monster, Long Eyebrow vaguely recognized parts of a good old friend. He was good at concealing his emotions. What kind of creature is this? It is clearly Earth immortal, but it doesn't belong to our human race, nor the demons, none of the beings of all realms match. With the immortal ascension stairway cut off, how did the immortal realm find our world so quickly? Once this question flashed into Long Eyebrow's mind, he understood. Unlike other worlds, ours is quite well known. Even with the stairway cut off, the immortal realm could approximate our location based on what they remember. Several decades have passed, enough time for the immortal realm to have located our world. Follow me to the battlefield. Facing numerous foes at such high level forced everyone to be fearful. However, with Long Eyebrow leading the charge, the group of Tribulation Crossing cultivators managed to follow suit. Attack! Long Eyebrow's eyes were filled with pain, as he struggled against the monster, sparing no effort to conserve his immortal power. Upon engaging the monster directly, Long Eyebrow was at a disadvantage. This beast, lacking rational thinking, and unpredictable in its attacks, managed to catch Long Eyebrow, a theorist who seldom engaged in direct combat, off guard, and knocked him flying. The other cultivators rushed in to intercept, besieging the monster. The creature, formidable in its physical presence, directly charged into the cultivators. The Tribulation Crossing cultivators, lacking coordination, fought individually, making it quite challenging to combat the monster. Many were severely injured and had to resort to regeneration using their essence blood time and again. The monster was eager to exterminate the cultivators by sucking them dry of their blood and essence. Catching the monster's gaze caused the cultivators to shudder with terror. The scale of the battle was enormous, causing all the cultivators in the world to lift their heads up in watchful anticipation. While they did not know exactly what the high-ranked cultivators were combating, they could sense the malicious intent that the creature harbored towards their world. 20 Tribulation Crossing cultivators can't even gain the upper hand against the Serpentine, can our world still be saved? These thoughts clouded the minds of the cultivators and mortals alike, shielding them from the harsh reality. In truth, even if the creature was formidable, with their number, victory seemed inevitable against it. However, the Tribulation Crossing cultivators were not coordinated, interfering with each other quite a bit. Even when two cultivators attacked the monster at the same time, due to their conflicting attack methods, the power of their attacks was significantly reduced. Can't you cooperate with me? Darn it, didn't you see that I attacked first? While the two bickered among themselves, the monster took advantage of their distraction and inflicted severe injuries on them. Thankfully, Long Eyebrow adjusted quickly and regained his footing against the monster. Though Long Eyebrow is humble about his talents and claims that he could only cultivate to the stage of Earth Immortal, he is, after all, the esteemed disciple of a patriarch and is nearly invincible at the stage of Earth Immortal. The group no longer engaged the monster directly, and used their magic charms and doubt techniques frequently to besiege the monster, eventually managing to kill it. After the monster was slain, it disintegrated into powder, and vanished into the air, leaving no trace behind. Master, what in the world was that? Although they managed to defeat the creature, the group of Tribulation Crossing cultivators were still worried. Just as the immortal ascension stairway disappeared, an inexplicable creature turned up, far superior in power and leaving them in a terrible state of injuries beyond recovery anytime soon. Only creatures at the stage of Earth Immortal could exist in the immortal realm. Could this creature have come from the immortal realm? Master, what exactly is going on? Since you are from the immortal realm, do you have any idea? As the representative, Taoist Jin asked, respectfully hoping for an answer and explanation. Long Eyebrow glanced at Jin Taoist, Long Eyebrow Buddha, Yuan Shang, Li Wu and everyone else before answering slowly, yes, indeed the immortal ascension stairway has disappeared due to the giant hand. Upon hearing this, the group of Tribulation Crossing cultivators clenched their fists reflexively but then went limp. If anyone among the group of Tribulation Crossing cultivators was most devastated, it had to be Taoist Jin. He was at a stage where he could ascend at any moment, but he didn't, preferring to solidify his cultivation base first to optimize his ascension. Who could have thought that right before ascension, the steadfast immortal ascension stairway would disappear? When can the immortal ascension stairway be repaired? Long Eyebrow shook his head gently, it's hard to be repaired. As you all probably know, it took several immortals to construct the stairway, using highly complex techniques. Once the immortal realm broke contact with the 10,000 realms, they never built another stairway. Nowadays, to build another one would require an unknown amount of immortal power and time. But please be assured, this is a major matter and the immortal realm won't let it be. We just need to wait patiently, and eventually, there will be a solution. However, it's likely that your masters, and the elders, aren't going to pay Jojo a visit anytime soon. The only connection between the immortal realm and Jojo was the immortal ascension stairway. Now that it has disappeared, the immortal realm needs to both rebuild the stairway and seek out Jojo's coordinates. The crowd was silent. What Long Eyebrow meant was that there is hope for the re-establishment of the immortal ascension stairway, but the time frame is uncertain. It could be 100 years to 10,000 years. They won't be alive in 10,000 years. Thankfully, there is still hope. Is that monster from the immortal realm? Taoist Jin raised this question, his heart heavy. If the enemy came from the immortal realm, then the construction of the immortal ascension stairway would truly be in the distant future. Moreover, if it came from the immortal realm, it follows that there will be more of them, ceaselessly. 1 or 2 times is still tolerable, but how could they consistently fend off these creatures? If they can't overcome the enemy, it might be better to indulge themselves fully before the enemy actually arrives. At this thought, Long Eyebrow tensed and noted the troubled expressions on the faces of these tribulation crossing cultivators. If they lose hope and purpose, they may become desperate, which could lead to various malicious acts. However, she quickly reassured them with a light laugh, brushing off the seriousness of the monster. How could it possibly be from the immortal realm? The immortal realm would never tolerate such an ugly monster. It's simply called a heavenly demon from beyond. A heavenly demon from beyond. The group of tribulation crossing cultivators looked at each other. None of them had ever heard this term from any of their immortal seniors or any of the immortal scriptures. If you haven't heard of it, it's perfectly normal. Heavenly demons from beyond are the enemies of the immortal realm. However, they really pose no threat. Their sheer numbers are just annoying. They're just a bunch of creatures at the earth immortal stage, easily crushed by any heavenly immortal. Would the immortals make a big fuss about some pesky ants? Upon hearing this, the group of tribulation crossing cultivators seemed to relax a bit. Yes, a creature without logic, recklessly charging around because of its earth immortal form, isn't it just a pesky bug in analogy? If they could become immortals, they certainly wouldn't fear these creatures. Oh, the heavenly demons from beyond. Chapter 403. Illusory Hope. Additional update for God's Shadow Thunders. Immortal Elder, can you share about the extraterrestrial heavenly demons? Everyone is somewhat interested in this, the Golden Elder asked, still not entirely trusting the Immortal Elder's words. Immortal Elder was not offended and said, after the immortal realm took control of the 10,000 realms, a heavenly immortal was traveling through the void and happened upon an unidentified creature of an aggressive nature. The creature only had the power of an earth immortal, and the heavenly immortal took it back to the immortal realm. After thoroughly studying this unidentified creature, the immortals discovered its cultivation system was different from ours. They do not rely on spiritual energy or immortal power for energy, but feed on negative emotions like anger, fear, grief, and urgency. Death is the biggest source of negative emotion, and so they kill. The immortals wanted to find the world where these unidentified creatures came from, but they haven't yet found the immortal realm. Some have speculated that the heavenly demons were born from the negative emotions of living creatures, but it's just speculation. At first, the people of the immortal realm were somewhat interested in these unidentified creatures. But when they found that these creatures had no rationality and couldn't communicate, they gradually lost their interest. Because the origins of these unidentified creatures were unknown, the immortals believed that there must be places in the immortal realm that they hadn't explored yet, and referred to these places as extraterrestrial. Since the unidentified creatures were born from negative emotions and had no rationality, they were deemed naturally demonic. Hence, the unidentified creatures were eventually named extraterrestrial heavenly demons. After that, hundreds of thousands of years passed. Probably because of the proliferation of creatures in the 10,000 realms and an increase in negative emotions, the number of extraterrestrial heavenly demons increased. They seemed to start attacking a small area within the immortal realm. The immortal realm just laughed at this. Without any rationality, these beasts only had the strength of earth immortals. They were not a significant threat. A few heavenly immortals were enough to keep them in check. So that's how it is. Immortal Elder, you truly are knowledgeable. Most people believed Immortal Elder's words. Immortal Elder has always been known for his extensive knowledge and omniscience in the 9 continents. Moreover, he had never lied, so his credibility was very high. A small part of the Transcendence Tribulation stage cultivators still didn't believe him, but given the current situation, they had no choice but to believe. Having hope is always better than having none. So, if the extraterrestrial heavenly demons only have the power of an earth immortal, who destroyed our celestial ladder to immortality? Long Eyebrow Buddha was puzzled. It could be a new variety of extraterrestrial heavenly demon. But it doesn't matter. If a piece of the sky really falls, we still have tall people to hold it up. With the existence of Taoist Ancestor, Buddha Ancestor, and others to hold the fort in the immortal realm, we will definitely be able to deal with that extraterrestrial heavenly demon. Everyone laughed happily. The more that Immortal Elder belittled the danger of the extraterrestrial heavenly demons, the more they felt the problem wasn't severe and could wait for support from the immortal realm. Immortal Elder exhaled in relief. He had spent dozens of days in his residence, spending some time fabricating this explanation just in case. It seems to have been useful now. After obtaining the answers they wanted from Immortal Elder, everyone left one after another, each returning to recover from their injuries. As everyone left, the smile on Immortal Elder's face disappeared gradually. He returned to his residence and sat quietly in front of his bookshelf, not saying a word. He felt guilty for concocting the existence of extraterrestrial heavenly demons and claiming his master was a special extraterrestrial heavenly demon. He kept telling himself that he had no other choice. What else could he say, given the circumstances? Should he tell everyone that the Taoist ancestor had died, that the immortal realm harbored hostility towards the 9 continents, and that there would be an endless stream of enemies coming? The Earth Immortal was just the beginning, and there may be heavenly immortals, or even higher-level immortals coming after. Everyone, just stop resisting. We're all going to die eventually, so we might as well indulge in pleasure. If he were to actually reveal the truth, it would surely lead to conflicts between the orthodox and the demon cultivators in the 9 continents. The neutral monks would probably join the demon cultivators. The 9 continents would self-destruct even before the immortal realm conquered them. It would be better to deceive them with an illusory hope, which could keep their spirits up for the time being. Zhongli watched the Immortal Elder in silence, sighing softly. The young monk learned about the existence of the extraterrestrial heavenly demons from Long Eyebrow Buddha and was very puzzled. He had extensively read scriptures and books but had never seen any mention of extraterrestrial heavenly demons. Now, the Immortal Elder suddenly told everyone about this insignificant enemy in the immortal realm, known as the extraterrestrial heavenly demon. The young monk was very skeptical of Immortal Elder's words. He voiced his doubts to Long Eyebrow Buddha, who after chanting Amitabha Buddha, said, "Zumi, believing the Immortal Elder's words is the best outcome. Do not dwell on this matter." The young monk didn't understand and, uncharacteristically, did not heed his master's words. He persisted in believing that there was something wrong with the Immortal Elder. 20 years later, another event shook the 9 continents. The Golden Elder was about to host an Ascension to Immortality conference and had invited his peers to observe. Golden Elder, why have you chosen to host the Ascension to Immortality conference now? With no trace of the celestial ladder, what's the point of becoming an immortal now? Long Eyebrow Buddha asked the Golden Elder. Apart from the Golden Elder, he was the one closest to the Transcendence Tribulation, which made him very interested in Golden Elder's every move. Golden Elder shook his head helplessly. I had no other choice. I don't want to go through the tribulation, but the Transcendence Tribulation would automatically find me. I put a stop to my cultivation 20 years ago. I originally thought that this would help me avoid the Transcendence Tribulation, but unfortunately I sensed the coming of the Transcendence Tribulation a month ago. Don't worry, even if I pass the Transcendence Tribulation, I won't be an immortal, so there is no danger to my life. So, that's how it is, nodded Long Eyebrow Buddha. The Ascension to Immortality conference was held as scheduled. 19 Transcendence Tribulation stage cultivators brought their disciples to observe, and Immortal Elder was also invited. In past Ascension to Immortality conferences, they had attracted attention from all over, with people from across the 9 continents celebrating. Even the elders from the immortal realm would descend to give their comments, making it a grand event. However, this Ascension to Immortality conference was deserted, with less than 100 people attending. Most cultivators were still unaware that the celestial ladder to immortality had been shattered. This huge news couldn't be concealed forever, and one day, everyone would know. As per tradition, Golden Elder made an opening speech. He thanked his peers for visiting, explained his understanding of cultivation, reassuring the attendees that their trip was worthwhile. When he reached the end of his speech, Golden Elder stopped talking and looked up at the sky. The Transcendence Tribulation descended. Dark clouds enveloped the city, giving off a shroud of darkness and concealing stars in the sky. Thunder echoed all around. Haha, enough small talk. Allow me to face the tribulation first. We'll discuss the Tao of Immortality later. Golden Elder laughed heartily. Although he faced his Transcendence Tribulation under less than ideal circumstances, it was still the Transcendence Tribulation he had long desired. No matter how many times I witness the Transcendence Tribulation, its majestic power is still an awe-inspiring force that can't be resisted, whispered Li Wu, a demon cultivator. Golden Elder was an experienced Transcendence Tribulation stage cultivator. He was a disciple of the Golden Yuan Palace in the Immortal Realm, renowned for having mastered numerous secret techniques. He had prepared multiple methods to face the Transcendence tribulation, and it was indeed as easy as flipping his hand for him. Immortal Elder didn't think there would be any problems for Golden Elder either. Purple lightning descended to cleanse the 9 continents, causing all creatures to fear. Golden Pestle Body. Golden Elder shouted, his body seemed cast from immortal gold, even his eyelashes were unbreakable, as if formed from the same material. The Golden Pestle Body was Golden Elder's proudest cultivation technique. His body was as resilient as a Vajra pestle. It could slaughter demons and evil creatures when on the attack, and provided unparalleled defense when retreating. He had already cultivated his Golden Pestle Body to the realm of perfection. Chapter 404. This is the Purple Thunder Destruction Tribulation, a notable one among the trials of becoming an immortal, explained the ageless elder. The Golden Taoist's Golden Pestle Body lived up to its fame. Even when hit by the immortal Purple Thunder, only his clothes were damaged and his body remained unscathed. After the purple immortal thunder disappeared, the heavenly tribulation descended, leaving everyone with grave expressions. This is a hurdle all cultivators find hard to overcome, the heart demon tribulation. The Golden Taoist, caught in the heart demon tribulation, stood blankly as everyone with keen hearing could hear his murmuring despite the thundering. The immortal realm knows I'm about to transcend. They've sent people to restore the immortal pathway, re-establishing the connection between JoJo and the immortal realm. I've become an immortal, I've become an immortal. No, don't try to deceive me, how could such a coincidence happen? It's not impossible, I'm destined to become a heavenly immortal, it's not impossible for the immortal realm to send someone to greet me. Become immortal, become immortal, become immortal, no one can prevent me from becoming an immortal. The Golden Taoist, with a blank look in his eyes, reacted to the scenario and received the baptism of the immortal thunder. Not good, he's about to transform into an immortal body, stop him quickly. Everyone's faces changed in fear. The Golden Taoist was lost in the heart demon tribulation and was about to transform into an immortal body through the immortal thunder. Without the support of immortal power, having only the immortal body would lead to a dead end. Everyone used various methods to attract the attention of the Golden Taoist, hoping to wake him up. The trials of becoming an immortal didn't allow external interventions, thus blocking all transmission methods from everyone. The Golden Taoist bathed in the immortal thunder, his body visibly becoming stronger at an astonishing speed. He broke through the heart demon tribulation and became sober again at this moment. Golden Taoist, quickly interrupt the immortal tribulation, it's not too late. Yuan Sheng shouted loudly. The Golden Taoist felt a body comparable to an earth immortal. He turned his head towards the crowd, smiling, it's already too late. The Golden Taoist spread his arms, basking in the leftover light of the heavenly tribulation, relishing his moment of immense power with a hint of helplessness. Long eyebrow, I lied to you. In fact, I've been practicing secretly for the past 20 years. Why? The long eyebrow Buddha was taken aback that the Golden Taoist would do such a thing. I couldn't resist. I was so close to becoming an immortal, simply because there's no immortal pathway, and I couldn't go to the immortal realm to officially become an immortal. I could not accept that. We are cultivators, we practice to become immortals. Now we don't know when the immortal realm will reconstruct the immortal pathway, are we to wait forever? If the immortal realm sends someone in 100 years, all would be well. But what if it happens after 1,000 years, or 10,000 years? I don't want to wait forever, wasting my time. The Golden Taoist hadn't finished talking when his body started to disintegrate into ashes under everyone's watchful eyes due to the lack of immortal power support. Ashes turn to ashes, and dust returns to dust. The cultivation achievement he had meticulously strategized for his entire life dissipated with his death, feeding back into JoJo. After the death of the Golden Taoist, the atmosphere was heavy, everyone was silent. They seemed to be sending off the Golden Taoist, as well as worrying about their own future. Yes, who among those who have reached the Transcendence Tribulation stage would willingly wait for the resurrection of the immortal pathway, uncertain of when it will reappear? But what else can they do if they don't await? Have the same deep-rooted obsession to become immortal like the Golden Taoist, transcend the immortal tribulation, then die in the heart demon tribulation. Everyone used to be fearless about the heart demon tribulation. Before reaching the Transcendence Tribulation stage, they had already polished their spiritual platform to be so clear that they have no defects. The heart demon will use all means, but it can't deceive them. But now, no one is confident in overcoming the heart demon tribulation. 80 years passed, sighting of the immortal pathway is still nowhere in sight. The upper echelons of JoJo have been plunged into an eerie silence. Everyone wishes to cultivate to immortality, but none dare to cultivate too intensely for fear of inadvertently reaching the standards of the immortal tribulation and following in the footsteps of the golden Taoist. As for the heavenly demons from outside the realm, no one paid them any mind. There's no need to cultivate just to combat the heavenly demons. The ageless elder once said that to the immortal realm, the heavenly demons from outside the realm are merely small fry. The strong immortals from the immortal realm would take care of the heavenly demons, and Jojo would be untroubled. Before the disappearance of the immortal pathway, Jojo was at its peak. According to the ageless elder's calculations, within 100 years, 3 to 4 people might transcend and ascend. This is a terrifyingly large number. But all of these who should have ascended have fallen silent. If we were to discuss advantages, there is one: the cultivators at the Transcendence Tribulation stage no longer seek to slaughter living beings for rapid leveling. Jojo has entered a rare era of peace, and the ordinary cultivators no longer live their days in constant fear. Those cultivators who are just a stone's throw away from the Transcendence Tribulation stage are ambitious, determined to stand at the pinnacle of Jojo. In contrast, those at the edge of human limitation, at the Transcendence Tribulation stage, are desolate and sorrowful, indulging in wine and merriment in a bid to forget about becoming immortal for a moment. Yet when they sober up, they stare blankly in the direction where the immortal pathway has disappeared, and stay dumbfounded for a while. It's too painful. Whether it's 20 years or 80 years, it's just the duration of one closed-door cultivation for those who are at the Transcendence Tribulation stage. This is not a matter of time, but the lack of hope for the future. If they knew that the immortal pathway would surely appear after 100 years, 200 years, or even 500 years, no one would care about becoming an immortal and would simply wait. But there has to be a timeline. Many people visited the ageless elder, hoping to get reliable information from this wise man. The ageless elder couldn't give a definite answer, and simply advised them to wait patiently. The ageless elder, who tells others to remain calm, is actually the one who's most restless. The immortal pathway would not reappear. Even if it did appear again, it won't come from the immortal realm to welcome Jojo. It's better if it did not appear at all. The ageless elder named his cave dwelling the Ceiling Self Cave, and refused to meet visitors. However, astonishing news prompted the ageless elder to leave the mountain once again. Long Eyebrow Buddha has gone into a state of madness. Upon hearing the news, the ageless elder rushed to Mount Sumeru. At this time, the entire Mount Sumeru was shrouded in dark clouds, where even the Buddha light couldn't penetrate the heavy clouds. Long Eyebrow Buddha had his eyes tightly shut, mumbling words and exhibiting signs of transcendence, clearly showing that he wasn't able to control himself. What happened? The ageless elder was confused. Among all the transcendences, Long Eyebrow Buddha had the best mental state and would not lapse into a state of madness. The situation with Long Eyebrow Buddha was perilous. He was desperately trying to suppress his volatile spiritual energy, trying not to break the final boundary, to prevent it from advancing to Transcendence Tribulation. The novice monk replied, "Master has been behaving strangely for some time. He is no longer chanting scriptures on schedule, but instead is striving to unravel the laws of space and unusual ways to become an immortal." I asked the master about his intentions, and he said he wanted to use the laws of space to find the immortal realm or bypass the immortal pathway and become an immortal. I thought it was a great vow set by the master, so I didn't take it seriously. Looking back now, master's actions were indeed abnormal. Just now, as usual, master was multitasking, chanting scriptures in the Great Hero Treasure Hall while trying to unravel the laws of space. But as he was chanting, master stopped unraveling the laws of space. His voice became more and more hurried, and the scriptures he was chanting were replaced by the words, "becoming immortal." After hearing the novice monk's explanation, the ageless elder could finally hear clearly what Long Eyebrow Buddha had been murmuring. The ageless elder sighed. After the departure of the Golden Taoist, Long Eyebrow was the one closest to becoming immortal. Becoming an immortal was not only his goal but also his obsession. Long Eyebrow Buddha became uncompromising in his pursuit of becoming an immortal, straying off the true path. If this continued, he was likely to meet an outcome where he died, and his cultivation went to naught. This is not just Long Eyebrow's problem, other transcendences have similar obsessions, but Long Eyebrow's situation is the most severe. Chapter 405, Mahayana Realm. The news of monk Long Eyebrow falling into madness reached the ears of other practitioners at the Transcendence Tribulation stage, who hurriedly rushed to see for themselves. Upon learning why monk Long Eyebrow had fallen into such hysteria, those at the tribulation stage were rendered speechless. The fate endured by monk Long Eyebrow that day could possibly be there tomorrow. They were just one step away from becoming immortals, yet they were unsure how long they would need to take this leap. Who could endure such torment? This was an experience that none of their predecessors had ever undergone before, and they were the ones to bear its burden. Friend Long Eyebrow, it's me. Can you hear me speaking? The immortal elder infused Monk Long Eyebrow with a sliver of his immortal power to stabilize Long Eyebrow's breathing. But that was all he could do. Monk Long Eyebrow opened his eyes slightly, not looking at the others at the tribulation stage, but instead turned his gaze towards the immortal elder, the only immortal among them, so it is the immortal elder. Elder, tell me, when will the heavenly ladder to immortality be rebuilt? When can I become an immortal? The others were also waiting for the immortal elder to give an answer. But no matter what, the immortal elder could never disclose the truth to them, that would only make the situation worse. Yet under the watchful eyes of the masses, he could no longer dodge or sidestep. The immortal elder looked at the unsteady Monk Long Eyebrow, stood up, glanced at the group at the tribulation stage, pondered for a while, and started speaking in a low voice. Friend Long Eyebrow, also to other friends, as practitioners at the Transcendence Tribulation stage, becoming immortal is not the only pursuit. To my knowledge, above the Transcendence Tribulation stage, there is still the Mahayana realm. At this revelation, the crowd was stunned into silence. The Mahayana realm? Monk Long Eyebrow had never heard of this realm before, yet it sounded familiar to him. The others at the tribulation stage also looked at each other in doubt. They could be forgiven for not knowing about the existence of heavenly demons in the immortal realm, but suddenly mentioning a new realm, stating that the tribulation stage is not the end, and that above it lies the Mahayana realm, was hard to swallow. Didn't friend Long Eyebrow mention to me about Hinayana and Mahayana Buddhist law before? The concept of a Mahayana realm exists in cultivation as well. The tone of the immortal elder was filled with undeniable confidence. What is Mahayana? Mahayana signifies great accomplishment. It means the peak of mortal cultivation, beyond which there is no further path. The tribulation stage is not the limit for mortals. The true limit for mortals is the Mahayana realm. Once one reaches the Mahayana realm, one could compete against immortals with a mortal body. It's understandable if you didn't know. The immortal realm is filled with extraordinary individuals, but few have cultivated to the Mahayana realm. It's rare to even see one in tens of thousands of years. Have you ever heard of the immortal Manhwa of the immortal realm? 30,000 years ago, he broke through the tribulation stage and reached the Mahayana realm, then ascended to the immortal realm, bypassing the earthly immortal stage and directly becoming a heavenly immortal. Later, he broke through several limitations, breaking the record for fastest cultivation time and becoming a powerhouse in the immortal realm. This is just a recent example. I heard from my master that almost 70 to 80,000 years ago, there was also a practitioner in the continent of Jojo who reached the Mahayana realm. Upon ascending to the immortal realm, they remained undefeated through countless battles. That practitioner was respectfully referred to as the War Immortal. You must have heard of him. The War Immortal had a certain relationship with my master. On hearing the names of these two immortals, everyone sucked in a cold breath of air. Both were renowned in the immortal realm as being invincible among their peers. Though they were not familiar with immortal Manhwa, as he was not from Jojo, they were somewhat familiar with the War Immortal, who was known to be remarkably talented and unparalleled in the world. The events of 70 to 80,000 years ago were too antiquated. Many of the facts and events were contradicting and confusing. The seniors present had elders who had lived for 70 to 80,000 years and were contemporaries with the War Immortal. However, they knew extremely little about the War Immortal. The War Immortal was aloof and proud, rarely engaging in conversation. Moreover, his cultivation speed was extremely fast, ascending to the immortal realm before people could even react, leaving no disciples or successors behind in Jojo. After ascending to the immortal realm, he became even more reclusive, making it difficult for those who ascended from Jojo to even meet him once. Only the master of the immortal elder, who dared to be referred to as the ancestor, had the opportunity to converse with the War Immortal. The Mahayana realm is difficult to cultivate, which is one of the reasons why it's rarely known. After the tribulation stage, one could become an immortal, making the Mahayana realm a less pursued level. The Mahayana realm was an idea the immortal elder came up with on the spot, inspired by Monk Long Eyebrow's advocacy of the Mahayana Buddhist law. However, once he reached this point in his explanation, he had no choice but to continue tailoring his narrative. The Mahayana realm, while difficult to cultivate, naturally leads to immense power. I heard that immortal Manhwa, at the Mahayana realm, could withstand 30 blows from a heavenly immortal without dying. The practitioners at the tribulation stage, who in Jojo were treated like myths and revered by all living beings, felt as if they were listening to a mythical tale on hearing about immortal Mingwo resisting a heavenly immortal with a mortal body. May I ask, Elder, how should we cultivate for the Mahayana realm? Li Wu asked, as this was their most pressing concern. Immortal Elder shook his head. I don't know. This is also one of the reasons why few people cultivate to the Mahayana realm. Even my master doesn't know the specifics. Wouldn't your esteemed master have some secrets due to his relationship with the War Immortal? Li Wu, are you joking? How can the secrets of how the War Immortal cultivated to the Mahayana realm be passed on? Immortal Elder continued. Although there is no concrete information, I have some speculations that you could consider. The Mahayana Buddhist law emphasizes supporting oneself and others, doing everything possible to help all living beings. And Immortal Mingwo and the War Immortal have always acted righteously, never killing innocently. The Mahayana realm might have some connection to the Mahayana Buddhist law. Yuan Sheng stated. Indeed, considering the similarity in their names, this is likely not a coincidence. Most people were skeptical of the Immortal Elder's statements. Given the introduction of a new realm, suspicions were natural. The Immortal Elder was also helpless. He couldn't devise better explanations. They could choose to believe or disbelieve and he was powerless to influence their decision. Immortal Elder, you never lie. Tell me, does the Mahayana realm truly exist? Monk Long Eyebrow asked. Yes, it does. The Immortal Elder replied without hesitation, knowing that if he hesitated now, there would be even more doubters. Now was not the time to test his conscience. Moreover, he felt that Monk Long Eyebrow might not truly believe his words. Monk Long Eyebrow simply wanted a new goal, one that was not related to becoming an immortal, which might help him let go of his obsession with becoming an immortal. As Monk Long Eyebrow was advocating the Mahayana Buddhist law, he laughed heartily upon hearing what the Immortal Elder said. Good, I believe you. Monk Long Eyebrow's aura changed abruptly, a mighty energy coursed through him. He soared into the sky and deliberately invoked the immortal Ascension tribulation. During the Heart Devil tribulation, someone from the immortal realm came to repair the heavenly ladder to immortality, allowing Monk Long Eyebrow to resist the divine thunder and advance to immortality. Monk Long Eyebrow resolutely refused. The Heart Devil tribulation dissipated, Monk Long Eyebrow passed the immortal Ascension tribulation, giving him a profound and complete aura. Friend Long Eyebrow, what is going on? Li Wu frowned, surprised that Monk Long Eyebrow not only did not suppress himself but actually took the initiative to endure the immortal Ascension tribulation. If one couldn't go to the immortal realm now, the immortal Ascension tribulation would still descend and its power would be even greater than the first time. Even if one could endure it once, could one endure the next and the next after that? He didn't understand what Monk Long Eyebrow was doing. Most people shared this sentiment with Li Wu. I intend to cultivate to the Mahayana realm and promote the grand Mahayana Buddhist law. I don't want to become an immortal just yet. Furthermore, we cultivators should be eager for progress, and face challenges bravely. How can we cringe and cower in the face of heavenly tribulation? Monk Long Eyebrow chanted a Buddhist mantra, his whole body bathed in Buddha's light. Chapter 406. Everyone with their own thoughts. Although Long Eyebrow Buddha set an example, with the intention of advancing to the Mahayana realm, the majority of people were still dubious. If there truly were a Mahayana realm, why couldn't they sense it while they were still at the Transcendence Tribulation stage? However, the Immortal Elder and Long Eyebrow Buddha both had the same attitude, and the others, having no other recourse at the moment, decided to try and understand it. Immortal Elder, you are really something. I could tolerate the heavenly demon part as your fabrication, but also inventing the Mahayana realm. Zhongli didn't know what expression to have when he saw all this. No wonder before me, everyone had a skeptical attitude towards the Mahayana realm. Zhongli recalled that when he went to the Sword Tomb to rescue Sword King, and self-introduced as a practitioner in Mahayana realm, the Sword King didn't seem to believe him at all. Sword King, a man from 4,000 years ago, his attitude towards the Mahayana realm represented the attitude of a considerable proportion of high-level cultivators. In fact, before Zhongli became a practitioner of the Mahayana realm, many cultivators did not believe in the existence of the Mahayana realm. This differed from the heavenly demons. The heavenly demons would typically wreak havoc across the continent every 100 or 200 years. The evidence was there for all to see, so people naturally believed in them. Meanwhile, the only confirmation as to the existence of the Mahayana realm came from the claims of the Immortal Elder. In the span of over 8,000 years, many astonishing Transcendence Tribulation stage cultivators emerged within 9 provinces. Some of them even went through 2 to 3 cycles of the Immortal Tribulations, such as Commander Lu and Old Buddha at the foot of Mount Meru. They all claimed that they could not see any trace of the Mahayana realm. The Mahayana realm was considered too vague and elusive, without even a basic cultivation direction. This uncertainty persisted until Zhongli emerged, attaining the Mahayana realm, and only then did people believe that the Mahayana realm truly exists. However, Zhongli never doubted the existence of the Mahayana realm from the very start. Before his transmigration, Zhongli had read many cultivation novels, and they all clearly distinguished a realm called the Mahayana realm. After transmigrating, Zhongli naturally believed in the existence of the Mahayana realm and then continually cultivated to reach the Mahayana realm. With his growth and continuous advancement after achieving the Mahayana realm, he felt that he could do more than just reach the Mahayana realm, he could potentially make a breakthrough above it. Who could have imagined that not only are there no breakthroughs above the Mahayana realm, but even the Mahayana realm itself was concocted by the Immortal Elder. But if the Mahayana realm is concocted by the Immortal Elder, then what about the system? It also assessed me to be in the Mahayana realm. Zhongli still remembered when he first received the system. It was naively insistent that it was 500 years in the past from now. When he asked the system for his current level, it responded that he was in the Mahayana realm. The system isn't supposed to make mistakes in assessing levels. Was the realm already existing and the Immortal Elder just stumbled upon the truth by accident, or did my arrival make the Immortal Elder's lie become reality, making the Mahayana realm real? Zhongli wore a perplexed expression, inclined to believe the latter. But if the Mahayana realm is so simple, why couldn't anyone achieve it? Although not many people truly believed in the Immortal Elder, it did plant a seed of hope. Those at the Transcendence Tribulation stage now saw another option aside from ascending into immortality. Elder, do heavenly demons and the Mahayana realm exist? The little monk was confused and went to question the Immortal Elder behind Long Eyebrow Buddha's back. I've read many ancient texts, such as travel notes and diaries of past immortals, and none of them mentioned the slightest hint of heavenly demons or the Mahayana realm. I never lie. The little monk couldn't get the answer he wanted and fell into disappointment. He still felt like the Immortal Elder was lying. After another 30 years, large-scale blood sacrifices rarely occurred in 9 provinces. Although it could not be called peaceful, it was significantly better than when the Immortal Ascending Staircase was still around. No more incidents occurred where cultivators at the Transcendence Tribulation stage lost control due to their obsession with ascending to immortality. On this day, the heavenly demons descended on 9 provinces once again, their fearsome aura enveloping the land. The Immortal Elder's face grimaced, not only because 2 heavenly demons dared to show up, making it hard for him to explain, but also because they were each equivalent to an Earth Immortal. Damn it, the Immortal Realm is so intent on exterminating 9 provinces. The Immortal Elder cursed under his breath, preparing to engage his old friends in battle. I'll deal with one, you guys hold off the other. The Immortal Elder delegated tasks briefly. We have limited immortal power, so use it sparingly. The Immortal Elder was helpless. With his talent, he could defeat 2 heavenly demons after paying a certain price. But he needed to think about the future. The 9 provinces only had him as the sole immortal. He was their leader, and while the heavenly demons were innumerable and causing incessant disasters, he had to fight them in each battle. And if he depleted his immortal power and perished, it would be a minor issue. He didn't mind dying after seeing his teacher and fellow disciples get killed. He just couldn't abandon 9 provinces. Who will fight after he dies? The Immortal Elder had already foreseen this day. In order to conserve his immortal power, he had been studying martial arts for the past 130 years. Changing his usual strategy, the Immortal Elder engaged in close combat with the heavenly demon. The other Transcendence Tribulation stage cultivators surrounded the other heavenly demon, their hearts filled with great anxiety. The heavenly demon was irrational and roared madly. Kill. Ignoring his teachings on killing, Long Eyebrow Buddha was the first to act, casting the angry Vajra image and fighting with the heavenly demon. However, at the first encounter, the heavenly demon's rugged flesh caused cracks in the angry Vajra image. The angry Vajra image was the result of Long Eyebrow Buddha's 1000-year cultivation. Despite this, he didn't care at all and continued to fight the heavenly demon. Everyone had never seen Long Eyebrow Buddha in this fierce state. The peaceful and detached look he usually had was a huge contrast to his current one. Under the influence of Long Eyebrow Buddha's courage, other cultivators from the Transcendence Tribulation stage also joined the battle. But, Long Eyebrow Buddha quickly discovered a problem. With 19 of them here, cooperating and defeating the heavenly demon was easy. But, the premise was cooperation. People were worried that if they gave it their all, they would attract the heavenly demon's hatred, which could become disastrous in the future. Therefore, they were all holding back, trying to protect themselves from being directly targeted by the heavenly demon. Everyone was cherishing their own lives. Moreover, they were worried if they were severely injured in the fight, would they be taken advantage of by their enemies? Both the righteous and demonic cultivators were selfish in reality. What is the point of thinking about these things at this time? Long Eyebrow Buddha was furious. If it continued like this, they would lose an assuring winning situation. The anger of Long Eyebrow Buddha had no effect. It even drew murmurs from a Transcendence Tribulation stage cultivator. If we lose, we lose. Maybe after the heavenly demon has killed enough mortals, it will retreat. Why should we fight desperately? Long Eyebrow Buddha even had thoughts of killing his companion. The battle gradually reached a state of fierce intensity. Then, with a squelching sound, a sharp claw pierced through the chest of Yuan Shang, and the heavenly demon threw him aside like a piece of trash. Even if left with a single piece of skin, a Transcendence Tribulation stage cultivator can still fight. A pierced chest was just a minor injury for Yuan Shang. As Yuan Shang was healing his injury and preparing to return to the battlefield, he noticed Li Wu standing nearby. Yuan Shang realized that Li Wu had not fought at all since the battle began. Li Wu, what are you doing? I am providing support from the periphery to prevent the heavenly demon from escaping, answered Li Wu guiltily. 100 years ago, he almost got swallowed by a heavenly demon and barely survived but was scarred for life. He dared not face the heavenly demon directly. Chapter 407, The Brief Reign of the First Generation Emperor. Yuan Shang's strategy was absurd. He wasn't holding back in his fight. He had outright abstained from it. Unnerved by Yuan Shang's relentless stare, Li Wu involuntarily retreated a couple of steps. Yuan Shang's countenance changed drastically. Don't go back. Li Wu glanced back in response to Yuan Shang's gaze, terror draining the blood from his face. An intergalactic heavenly demon crossed dimensions and emerged behind him. The monstrous heavenly demon opened its ghastly maw and swallowed Li Wu whole, leaving not a drop of blood behind. The third intergalactic heavenly demon. Yuan Shang was the first to fight the demon, the battle leaving him in a dreadful condition, his wounds refusing to heal. The others too quickly noticed the situation. With conviction, Long Eyebrow Buddha stated, I'll leave 5 people here, the rest should go assist Yuan Shang. Also, bring out all your immortal artifacts. Upon hearing this, the Transcendence Tribulation stage immortals rushed to Yuan Shang's aid without hesitation. As the crowd grew, the less effort each needed to contribute. Watching the unfolding battle, Zhang Li empathized with Long Eyebrow Buddha. If everyone were to fight together, the worst-case scenario would be the death of a Transcendence Tribulation stage immortal. At present, everyone had their private schemes, making nominal contributions and stalling against the heavenly demon. They were even gradually being pushed into a corner. What a bunch of despicable bastards. The scale of this battle was vast. Signs of warfare were scattered across the universe, akin to an apocalypse. The cultivators and mortals of the 9 provinces observed the conflict, aghast and trembling in fear. They prayed for the side of the 9 provinces to secure the victory. Regrettably, things did not go as they hoped. As the 9 provinces was gradually being suppressed, despair etched on the faces of the cultivators and mortals. That's the heavenly demon that slaughters all beings. If even the Transcendence Tribulation stage immortals can't do anything, wouldn't we be doomed if the heavenly demon wins? I don't want to die. The heavenly demon is terrifying. Woo, I don't want to die. The cultivators and mortals didn't realize that the Transcendence Tribulation stage immortals hadn't yet unleashed their full strength. They assumed that the immortals were fighting the demon tooth and nail, risking their lives in the process. The Elder Immortal and the Transcendence Tribulation stage immortals were their last line of defense. As the final line crumbled, they descended into panic and despair. The battle grew fiercer. The heavenly demon, employing an unknown technique, devoured one of Long Eyebrow Buddha's arms, leaving him unable to regrow it. Long Eyebrow Buddha was the most powerful among the Transcendence Tribulation stage immortals. Thus, every move he made held profound significance for the cultivators and mortals. Seeing Long Eyebrow Buddha visibly faltering and gradually retreating, the cultivators and mortals conceded that their demise was inevitable and the 9 provinces were destined to be obliterated. The brooding thought of their inevitable deaths and the destruction of the 9 provinces began to spread amongst the people. However, amidst this dire predicament, another thought emerged. They didn't want to die, they hoped that Long Eyebrow Buddha could win. This common or similar sentiment began to gradually seep into every inch of the 9 provinces' lands in an inexplicable manner. As these thoughts merged, they formed a stunning azure stream, flowing slowly, appearing both liquid and solid. Initially, this stream was so faint that it could dissipate at any moment. But as the battle progressed and the people's desperation and will to survive intensified, this azure stream also grew stronger. Compared to the earth veins of Zhongli's era, this stream was still in an embryonic stage. They wanted Long Eyebrow Buddha to win. Responding to these desperate pleas, the earth veins' embryonic form began gathering more strength. Long Eyebrow Buddha was repelled once again. Seeing this, the other Transcendence Tribulation stage immortals ceased to hold back, attempting to subdue the heavenly demon. Unfortunately, without a leader, their inadequate coordination couldn't withstand the heavenly demon. The heavenly demon charged at Long Eyebrow Buddha, its belly splitting open, and numerous arms reached out, attempting to pull Long Eyebrow Buddha into its stomach. Long Eyebrow Buddha wanted to fight back, but he lacked the strength to resist. Just when Long Eyebrow Buddha thought it would be over, a mild force came from the 9 provinces, nourishing his body. Is this the power of faith? Being a Buddhist, Long Eyebrow Buddha was very familiar with this force. He was just curious about where this power of faith came from. Soon, he felt the thoughts hidden in the power of faith and understood where it originated from. This power of faith coalesced into a stream beneath the 9 provinces and then flowed into my body. Long Eyebrow Buddha was puzzled as he had never heard of such a thing. But now was not the time to consider these matters. The power of faith quickly replenished his strength and elevated his physical body to a level infinitely close to that of an immortal. The 9 provinces' earth veins had just been born, the transmission of the power of faith was intermittent, and they could not continuously provide Long Eyebrow Buddha with power. Fight again. Long Eyebrow Buddha was already quite content. He is now stronger than his peak state, leading a few at the Transcendence Tribulation stage, to fight the heavenly demon from outside the realm once again. 10,000 Buddhas worship. The sound of Buddha echoed unreasonably across the universe, the breath of Buddha rioted, Long Eyebrow Buddha delivered a golden palm, as if multitudes of Buddhas were present, all striking at once. The sounds of Buddha disturbed the spiritual minds, the breath of Buddha stagnated their bodies, and this strike from Long Eyebrow Buddha held the heavenly demon from outside the realm frozen for a moment. Bang! A solid strike hits the pitch-black body of the heavenly demon from outside the realm, shattering the stars with its shockwaves. After all, the heavenly demon from outside the realm was an earth immortal body, not even in the early stage of being an earth immortal. This palm of Long Eyebrow Buddha was not enough to kill it. Roar! The heavenly demon from outside the realm issued an unintelligible roar. Mount Heshan Stone, hit. The master of Kunglai Fairy Island used his immortal artifact, punching a bloody hole in the heavenly demon from outside the realm. Great Demon Sky Support Stick. Mountain Suppression Seal. The few individuals at the Transcendence Tribulation stage showed off their extravagant moves in grandeur and momentum, but in reality, only the master of Kunglai Fairy Island had put in his full effort, and the rest were merely putting on an act. Since Long Eyebrow Buddha could continue to fight, there was no need for them to go all out. Immovable Ming King Law. Long Eyebrow Buddha transformed into the immovable Ming King, reflecting an image of anger, with the brilliant light shining everywhere, making him immovable. Roar! Seeing something familiar, the heavenly demon from outside the realm roared louder. The heavenly demon from outside the realm opened its stomach again, and numerous arms reached out from its stomach, 2 of which held Buddha beads. Long Eyebrow Buddha's heart trembled. He silently recited the sutras, severing the train of his thoughts, no longer considering the origins of the heavenly demon from outside the realm, but focusing on the battle at hand. No matter where the heavenly demon from outside the realm came from, he was determined to slay the demon today. This heavenly demon from outside the realm was too powerful. If Earth immortals were divided into early, middle, and late stages, then the body strength of this heavenly demon from outside the realm was at the late stage of Earth immortals. It seemed to have a natural resistance to Buddhist law and would instinctively avoid Long Eyebrow Buddha's attack. Even after Long Eyebrow Buddha's strength skyrocketed, it was still difficult to inflict a lethal wound on it. Kill. Long Eyebrow Buddha exhausted all his tricks, even resorting to the blood-burning and life-burning methods to fight with his mortal body against the immortals and Buddhas. Eventually, Long Eyebrow Buddha fell short, sacrificing his life for a severe, incurable wound on this heavenly demon from outside the realm. Long Eyebrow Buddha fell, becoming a complete Shariputra. At the moment of death, he directed the power of faith back into the earth veins, strengthening the earth veins, allowing them to mature quickly, providing an uninterrupted power of faith for those who would come after him. Master. Seeing this sight, the little novice monk leapt into the cosmos, disregarding life and death, to avenge his master. You dare to hide. The ruler of the Yuan dynasty, who was fighting with the 3rd heavenly demon from outside the realm, noticed this side. His fury was overwhelming, and he had blood-red eyes. Long Eyebrow Buddha is dead, and you are next. If this goes on, none of you will survive. All beings placed their hopes on the sect master of the Xuantian sect, the righteous leader Yuan Shang. The Xuantian sect often upheld justice for cultivators and mortals and won the hearts of the people. The gradually maturing 9 provinces' earth veins followed the will of the people and poured the power of faith into Yuan Shang. Chapter 408. The End of History. After the death of Long Eyebrow, people finally began to unite, and under Yuan Shang's leadership, they fought against the heavenly demons from another dimension. The heavenly demon that had been severely injured by Long Eyebrow quickly died, and the other one was also killed by the collective attack of Tribulation Crossing cultivators. Yuan Shang led his men to reinforce Chengkun Shanwang, killing the last heavenly demon. Thus, the 3 heavenly demons that had descended on the 9 provinces were all dead. In this battle, the little monk broke through the mystery of crossing tribulation and advanced to the Tribulation Crossing stage, becoming the new ruler of Mount Sumeru, also known as Sumeru Buddha. After the battle, Yuan Shang did not feel much joy, but more of a sense of melancholy. He seemed to realize that the help from the immortal realm might never come, and it is not a lasting strategy to always wait for the immortal realm or rely on Chengkun Shanwang. Yuan Shang found the rudiment of the earth's pulse. Although it had been matured by Long Eyebrow once before, it was not enough. Next time when the heavenly demon descends, he, empowered by the faith, would undoubtedly be the first to rush up. But what then? If he died in battle, would they have to hastily select another person to receive the power of faith? There is too much uncertainty in this. It would be better to choose in advance. After some discussions with Chengkun Shanwang and others, Yuan Shang began to transform the rudiment of the earth's pulse. Mainly, Yuan Shang, who possessed the power of faith, was in charge of transforming the rudiment, while others were responsible for giving suggestions. This river, formed by the faith of sentient beings, flows throughout the 9 provinces, can be called the earth's pulse. The earth's pulse represents the will of all beings. They hope that someone can raise the banner of the 9 provinces when the heavenly demons descend, then the earth's pulse should serve this function. The earth's pulse is the aggregate of the will of all beings. On the other hand, it can also sense the thoughts of each individual. The earth's pulse can select those who are willing to dedicate themselves to the 9 provinces and mobilize the power of the 9 provinces, allowing various opportunities to come to these people, accelerating their growth. I will also guide them on the side to prevent them from going astray. Once they grow up, another selection will take place. The person with the highest talent and strongest combat power will replace me and guard the 9 provinces. It is uncertain when the immortal realm will appear. Shanwang's power is limited and cannot be used casually. He can be regarded as the last line of defense in the 9 provinces. The peach tree of red dust Nirvana never takes the initiative to attack, so it can't be relied on. The only ones we can count on are us Tribulation Crossing cultivators, and the next generation of cultivators. If possible, I really hope that successors can break through the Tribulation Crossing stage and reach the legendary Mahayana realm mentioned by Shanwang. The Mahayana realm, capable of fighting a heavenly immortal for 30 moves without dying, will certainly protect the 9 provinces. I hope that there will be no distinction between the righteous and the demonic in 9 provinces in the future, and everyone can work together to resist the heavenly demons. My thoughts seem to be changing quietly. My way of thinking has always started from the mysterious heaven sect, trying to resist the demonic path and protect the people. Now, I have blurred my sense of identification with the mysterious heaven sect. My thinking is enhancing, transcending the boundaries of the dynasty and the sect, and solely focused on the 9 provinces. Is this the true right path? Did I truly comprehend this after the battle, or is it because the power of faith can not only enhance my strength but also change my heart? No, it doesn't matter anymore. The most important thing now is to improve the earth's pulse and save the 9 provinces. Emperor Zhong, do you want to continue watching? Emperor Shun asked Zhong Li as he detached himself from the river of time. Let's go back. Zhong Li chose not to continue watching. The series of terms such as human emperor, imperial palace, candidates for emperor, were not formed at this time, but over the past hundreds of years, several people who succeeded Yuan Shang started to propose to refer to them as the human emperor. He had looked at 130 years of history, and had already resolved many questions. The remaining questions were not visible through only history. It would be useless to continue watching. I heard that after you established the Zhou dynasty, you ascended the ladder and went to the immortal realm, didn't you? Zhong Li was curious. Emperor Shun was a strange person. He had unexpectedly established the Zhou dynasty, which was governed by law. Everyone saw him ascend the ladder to immortality. According to the people who later went to the immortal realm, they did not see Emperor Shun there, but only heard some rumors about his mysterious appearances and disappearances. People said that after Emperor Shun became an immortal, he understood more about the path of time, and he was both in the immortal realm and in the river of time. Indeed, after I became an immortal, I did reach the immortal realm. There are also immortals in the immortal realm who are proficient in the way of time. Although his understanding of the way of time is not as good as mine, I couldn't compete with his higher cultivation. He targeted me everywhere. I didn't really like staying in the immortal realm, so I just returned to the river of time. I occasionally go to the immortal realm to show up and absorb immortal energy for cultivation. Do you know the position of the immortal realm? I only know the position of the immortal realm 9,000 years ago, which was before the ladder to immortality was broken. I often choose different time points to wander around the immortal realm and leave traces that are beyond the comprehension of immortals. It's quite interesting. But after the ladder to immortality was broken, the sentient heavenly Tao consciously controlled the immortal realm and repeatedly changed the coordinates, just like a neurotic. Even I can't find the coordinates of the immortal realm now. If you want to find the immortal realm when you return to your own era, I'm afraid you can only do so by finding heavenly immortal who submit to the heavenly Tao, or the ladder to immortality. What if I go back to the immortal realm of the past? Zhang Li asked while gazing at the sea of time enveloped in chaotic fog. Emperor Shun made a bitter face. You can, but can it be the next time? Why, people who do not master the path of time cannot move freely in the river of time. Even earth immortals and heavenly immortals have difficulty taking a single step. Although you, Zhang Human Emperor, are an unprecedented Mahayana realm, you are not omnipotent. You are not very proficient in the path of time. Zhang Li stared at Emperor Shun. Did your Ji family only know how to ostracize me using the path of time? Emperor Shun pretended not to see Zhang Li's gaze, and continued, the reason you can move freely in the river of time is entirely because you are too powerful, and the rules of the river of time cannot limit you. Can't I just keep acting in the river of time? Do you remember when time reversed in the zombie world, you wanted to violate the rules and take action forcefully? As a result, the whole world almost perished in your hands. The same is true for the river of time. You stay for too long, and you will be fine, but the river of time will suffer. Although you cannot perceive the changes in the river of time, I can. I feel that there is a trend of cracks appearing in the river of time, which is a sign of collapse. I will send you back to your original space-time first to let the river of time recover for a while. After that, you can come back, Emperor Shun suggested. Fine. Zhang Li remembered that the past and present sword transformed into a white fish in the downstream of the river of time had encountered him, indicating that he would enter the river of time in the future. Emperor Shun's sigh of relief and transported Zhang Li back to the 9 provinces 9,000 years later. Chapter 409, Fearsome Duyi Ascends. 200 years passed since Zhang Li left. Yuan Shang, a Transcendence Tribulation stage practitioner, died in battle, and his successor took up the flag of the 9 provinces to resist the heavenly demons. Envoy Duyi arrived at the 9 provinces silently. Everything is going as expected, the number of Transcendence Tribulation stage practitioners in the 9 provinces is decreasing. After counting the number of Transcendence Tribulation stage practitioners, Duyi was quite satisfied with his plan. The world of the 9 provinces is too strong to be infiltrated and disintegrated by deception and deceit. The top powers in this world need to be eliminated first. After developing sentient intelligence by the heavenly Tao, Earth immortals devoured each other, transforming into bizarrely grotesque monsters. These monsters are incredibly powerful in the past. Dispatching one to any world could annihilate it instantly without a doubt. Annihilating a world instantly may result in disastrous consequences. They can't be sent recklessly. It's perfect to use these mad Earth immortals against the 9 provinces, sending one every 200 years or so, keeping the pressure on the 9 provinces. In the long run, with the high-ranking practitioners in the 9 provinces dead, I will come again to execute the covert plan to disintegrate it from the inside. Envoy Duyi felt exuberant because his plan to destroy the 9 provinces has been approved by the superiors. Over the years, I have been drawing up various long-term death plans in other worlds. I haven't had time to come to the 9 provinces. Despite this, I could devise a plan that satisfies the superiors and is implementable. Envoy Duyi prided himself on being the most intelligent immortal among the heavenly immortals. Heavenly demon from outside the realm. Mahayana realm. Envoy Duyi was slightly surprised when he heard this. As expected of the venerable immortal, masking the truth with the term, heavenly demon from outside the realm, concocting the elusive, Mahayana realm, to give people hope. The wisdom of the venerable immortal is no less than mine. Envoy Duyi shook his head. What a pity, a lie is bound to remain a lie no matter how flawlessly it's crafted. The day of truth always arrives, how long can you keep the deception going? Envoy Duyi appeared as a god above, watching the 9 provinces exhaust every means to resist the so-called heavenly demons, taking satisfaction in it. He went through those methods, finding flaws and loopholes. Wait, what's the situation with the earth veins? Duyi felt something was exceeding his expectations. He channeled his divine sense, scanning the 9 provinces, then transformed himself into a common cultivator, collected information from various places, and finally burrowed into the core of the 9 provinces, saw the azure blue stream. Envoy Duyi broke into a cold sweat. He had lived for tens of thousands of years, he had never been so frightened and scared before, be it in the 9 provinces or ascended to the immortal realm. How could such a thing appear? Envoy Duyi felt chilled to the bone, sensing imminent death. He never felt death so near him before. It's not supposed to be. It's not supposed to be. It's not supposed to be. Duyi roared quietly, venting his terror. He knew, if he reported the situation of the earth veins in the 9 provinces to the superiors, the first one to be executed would be himself. Such a thing should only be born when all sentient beings are in dire straits. Why would it appear in the 9 provinces? Envoy Duyi was confused. He cautiously dispatched monsters. Their quantity and ability were all within the range of the 9 provinces. Response: there was absolutely no chance to let sentient beings sink into despair. Totally impossible. The earth veins formed 200 years ago. That's when I dispatched 3 monsters. It shouldn't be. There were 10 or more Transcendence Tribulation stage practitioners in the 9 provinces at that time, as well as the Venerable Immortal. They had more than enough power to deal with 3 monsters. Duyi forced himself to calm down and find out the reason for the formation of the earth veins. Damn, did those 3 Earth Immortal-classed monsters appear, and those bastards in the Transcendence Tribulation stage were plotting against each other, working half-heartedly, resulting in the 9 provinces falling behind, making the people mistakenly believe that the 9 provinces were doomed. The order that Duyi gave to the 3 monsters was to kill the Transcendence Tribulation stage practitioners first. Thinking that the Transcendence Tribulation stage practitioners would fight to death, the result would be monsters getting killed and heavy casualties to the Transcendence Tribulation stage. Intent on vomiting blood, he took everything into account except the psychological activities of the Transcendence Tribulation stage. Destroy the earth veins. This was Duyi's first thought. He quickly rejected the idea. No, not to mention the earth veins, even when they were just born, or were in the embryonic form of the earth veins, they were not something I could destroy, their level is too high. Anyway, the earth veins have been born, there is nothing to fear from the will of sentient beings before their death. Why not just take action to directly annihilate the 9 provinces? Envoy Duyi quickly rejected the second idea too. The world of the 9 provinces is too eye-catching. If all the people in the 9 provinces die, it would definitely draw the attention of the superiors. Once the superiors noticed the 9 provinces, then noticed the existence of the earth veins, the next step would be to execute him. Stall then, stall for as long as possible. After Envoy Duyi ascended to the immortal realm, he not only learned magic, but also learned to stall. He also didn't dare to change the plan. The plan had been seen by the superiors. Rashly modifying the plan for annihilating the 9 provinces would raise suspicions. What Envoy Duyi needs to do now is to act as if nothing had happened. By directly annihilating the people of the 9 provinces, the earth veins would not disappear, but rather transform into another form to continue to exist. Only by slowly annihilating the 9 provinces could the earth veins disappear. There is no other way. Hope there won't be any more accidents. In over 8,000 years, the number of Transcendence Tribulation stage practitioners in the 9 provinces would drop to its lowest. That's when I will come to the 9 provinces to carry out a new plan. Envoy Duyi, filled with worries, left. After all, it's more comfortable to stay in the 9 provinces now. Zhongli, sent back by Emperor Shun, stretched lazily. Zhongli remembered the speed at which Emperor Shun was rowing the boat and felt as if he wanted to send him back as soon as possible. As if the longer he stayed in the river of time, the more dangerous the river of time would become. Hello, everyone. Zhongli greeted the nearby people with a smile. So where did you pop out from? Yu Yin sat on the throne, exquisite and grand, looking at Zhongli who suddenly appeared in front of her. She didn't know what to say. She was holding a morning court session, and just when the morning court was about to end, Zhongli suddenly appeared out of thin air. It wasn't exactly out of thin air. From the fluctuations, Yu Yin sensed the Tao of time, which was even more refined than Gigi's. The officials, upon seeing Zhongli, paid their respects in unison. Greetings, human emperor. Yu Yin asked, aren't you playing two-man turn with Bai Hongtu in some energy world? It's the Wei Gu world. The name is too hard to remember. I gained quite a lot from this trip. I have some matters to discuss with the immortal. Do you want to come with me to meet the immortal? How much gain? Enough to overturn your perceptions. Let's go. Yu Yin's interest was piqued. The matter that Zhang Li was talking about was definitely more interesting than holding court. As Zhang Li flew halfway, he felt like he had forgotten something. When Zhang Li was at the front of the Dao sect, he slapped his palm, realizing suddenly he had forgotten Bai Hongtu. Zhang Li spread out the summoning array, murmuring words under his breath, come back, Bai Hongtu. The summoned Bai Hongtu was performing a strange action as if grabbing someone's collar and shaking it vigorously. Sect Hierarch, please wake up quickly, send me to the river of time too. The two disciples at the door of the Dao sect were used to their sect master's odd behavior. It's not like the sect master started behaving like this just a day or two ago. Chapter 410. There is still hope for the future. When Bai Hongtu knew that he had been summoned back to Zhou, he understood that he had no chance to enter the river of time. Zhang Li had come back from the river of time, there was no point for him to even attempt. How did you return from the river of time? Bai Hongtu asked curiously. I met the ancestor of the Ji family, Emperor Shun, who sent me back. You certainly didn't expect what I did in the river of time. Zhang Li boasted, trying to impress them with his experience. You went back tens of thousands of years and fought in the immortal realm? Bai Hongtu asked. Zhang Li, he didn't know how to respond to that. Didn't you say you were looking for the immortal? Let's go. Once we get to him, you can share your historical insights. Yu Yin said and unceremoniously entered the Dao sect. Zhang Li and Bai Hongtu followed behind, making it seem as if Yu Yin was the master of the Dao sect. Immortal, we have come to visit you again. Zhang Li called out as if visiting a lonely old man, entering the ceiling self-cave. The eternal immortal was engrossed in his world of books. Upon hearing Zhang Li's voice, he closed his book and chuckled, what do you mean visit? Didn't you come here with questions? Quite a few people have come back this time, Hongtu and Xiaoyan too. Make yourselves at home, there's only books in my cave so, I don't have much to offer. Remembering the eternal immortal he had just seen, who had aged from youth to old age over 9,000 years, Zhang Li was slightly moved. Immortal, we recently visited a world where people do cultivate to be immortals but have different abilities. The heavenly demons rarely infiltrate there. Upon hearing this, the eternal immortal quietly breathed a sigh of relief. As long as there were no heavenly demons it was fine. Every time Zhang Li came to him, it somehow always revolved around the heavenly demons. He had expended quite a bit of effort to maintain the connection to the previously fabricated lies. However, there is someone in that world who possesses the ability to manipulate time. At the risk of their own life, they sent me into the river of time. Zhang Li looked at the eternal immortal with a smirk. Immortal, want to guess which era I went to? I visited Zhou 9,000 years ago. I witnessed the process of the ladder to immortalhood being destroyed and also learned about the origins of the heavenly demons. Is that so? The eternal immortal smiled reluctantly. He could barely maintain his composure anymore, breaking out in a cold sweat. He hadn't expected Zhang Li to reveal this much all at once. There's no way he could round off the truth this time. Isn't it commonly known that the heavenly demons destroyed the ladder to immortalhood? What's so surprising about that? Bai Hongtu asked, confused. You're mistaken, it was the ancestor who destroyed the ladder to immortalhood. What? Bai Hongtu was shocked, you mean the ancestor of the immortal realm destroyed it? You can say that the ladder to immortalhood was destroyed by the Dao sect's ancestor or by the immortal realm's ancestor. The Dao sect's ancestor was one of the three corpses of the immortal realm's ancestor. After the immortal realm's ancestor integrated his three corpses, he crushed the ladder to immortalhood. Then the immortal realm's ancestor left Zhou, destroyed the last ladder to immortalhood in the 10,000 realms which was in the Mingzhang world, and then went into eternal rest there. Bai Hongtu stood abruptly, are you saying that the immortal realm's ancestor is dead? The heavenly demons are so powerful now. Does that mean the heavenly demons have already invaded the immortal realm? Yu Yin also looked serious. The news Zhang Li brought was earth-shattering. If the immortal realm had been invaded by the heavenly demons, even if the ladder to immortalhood was rebuilt in the future, no one would dare go to the immortal realm. No one could become an immortal. The immortal realm had become the main base of the heavenly demons. In actuality, there are no heavenly demons. There are no heavenly demons. What does this mean? You should have seen the stele left by the ancestor of the bell-ringing world where the words are barely legible. Of course, the stele says that the ancestor encountered an enemy, was seriously injured, and left the immortal realm. The immortal speculated that a conflict had happened within the immortal realm which affected our ancestor of the Tao sect. Now that I think about it, the immortal's speculation must have been wrong. I saw the complete stele. Without saying much about himself, Zhongli projected the phantom of the stele into the air. Heavenly Tao produced sapience. All cultivators below the level of immortal in the immortal realm died. Earth immortals devoured each other and became various forms of monsters as the description of the earth immortals here, not the heavenly demons. Ancestor, what's really going on? The eternal immortal sighed. Zhongli, knowing the truth to yourself would have been enough, why do you have to say it out loud? The eternal immortal knew that the truth could not be hidden any longer. When he first fabricated the story of the heavenly demons, there were quite a few people who doubted him. As time progressed, the people of that era gradually perished in battles. In the end, only he and the old Buddha of Sumeru survived. After Zhongli killed the old Buddha of Sumeru, he was the only one remaining. As the only survivor from that era, naturally, whatever he said was taken as the truth. Until now, no one questioned the origin of the heavenly demons. Although Zhongli had doubts, they remained just that. He was adamant about maintaining his previous statements, and there was nothing Zhongli could do about it. The eternal immortal never expected that Zhongli could visit the river of time, much less travel back to 9,000 years ago. Even Gigi could only go back 300 years. How did Zhongli do it? Did the river of time not obstruct him? If he could, the eternal immortal would hope to take the secret of the heavenly demons to his grave without letting a second person know the truth. Knowing the truth would bring no benefits to Jojo. It was like this 9,000 years ago, and it remained the same 9,000 years later. Just as he had repeatedly discouraged Zhongli in the past, if he could avoid ascending to the higher realm, he should not. If they could avoid opposing the immortal realm, they should not. Given Zhongli's character, if he went to the immortal realm, conflict was inevitable. No matter how strong Zhongli was, he was not stronger than the immortal realm. It was impossible for one person to resist the immortal realm with his own strength. Even as strong as his master, who stood at the end of the immortal path after integrating his 3 corpses, he ended up being killed. Seeing that the immortal wasn't speaking, Zhongli explained to the others, there are no so-called heavenly demons in the world. What we call heavenly demons are nothing but immortals. For the past 9,000 years, what we've been killing are not demons but immortals. The earth immortals became monsters, rampaging through Jojo, while the heavenly immortals submitted to the heavenly Tao and made their arrangements across the 10,000 realms. Perhaps when the ladder to immortalhood was crushed by the ancestor, the immortal had become aware of the changes in the immortal realm. He could not reveal the truth at that time. 9,000 years ago, there weren't many cultivators wanting to maintain order. More of them believed in their supremacy and aimed to harness the world's resources for their own cultivation. The aim of cultivation is to become an immortal. With the disappearance of the immortal realm, becoming an immortal became hopeless. Revealing the truth would cause cultivators to despair, thus accelerating the destruction of Jojo. The immortal created the lie of the heavenly demons for the sake of Jojo. Zhongli, since you already know the reason, why did you reveal the truth? Zhongli replied seriously, because the ancestor entrusted me with a mission. Zhongli showed the eternal immortal the scene of the ancestor's last moments. In the scene, the ancestor, dragging his broken body in his dying moments, told Zhongli, who came from the future and was even stronger than him, that there was hope in the future. Seeing this, the eternal immortal's vision blurred. He covered his face and wept uncontrollably. Whether it was because he saw his master's death, was venting the loneliness he endured silently for 9,000 years, or both, wasn't certain. Chapter 411. People first, then heaven. Immortal, you look younger. Yu Yin expressed in surprise. The 3 of them had been in contact with the immortal since they were young. The immortal had always had the appearance of an old man who seemed like he could pass away at any moment. However, now that he had found hope, his demeanor and appearance had changed accordingly. The immortal finally put his mind at ease. In the past, he believed that the ruin of Jojo was merely a matter of time and all he could do was delay it. But today, the news brought by Zhongli gives him hope. Although he could not turn back time to 9,000 years ago, he did seem a lot younger. I'm sorry you had to see me like this. After crying, the immortal calmed down. The thought of crying in front of his juniors made him feel embarrassed. Bai Hongtu suddenly asked, I know that Zhongli is very powerful, but how can he be stronger than the Tao ancestor? Isn't Zhongli in the Mahayana realm? Mahayana realm corresponds to Earth immortal, no matter how exaggerated, it shouldn't reach the level of the Tao ancestor, right? Zhang Li watched the immortal, noticing his discomfort. Immortal, tell us what really happened in the Mahayana realm. You should know better than I would. The immortal explained everything about the Mahayana realm. So the Mahayana realm was something you made up. Bai Hongtu was astounded. He thought he was good at deception, but evidently, there was someone even better. Zhang Li stood in awe of his own lies in comparison to the immortal. The immortal is indeed worthy of his title. The immortal remembered being dumbfounded when he found out that Zhang Li had broken through to the Mahayana realm, thinking he had not entirely woken from his sleep. Did someone actually cultivate the realm he had made up? There were always people doubting the existence of the Mahayana realm, but Zhang Li's success silenced all skepticism. While others don't have doubts, it's the immortal's turn to question. If he were to make up a few more realms, could Zhang Li cultivate in them as well? The immortal also reflected for a while, wondering if he had unknowingly cultivated by speaking his mind. After Zhang Li broke through to the Mahayana realm, why didn't you tell him the truth? Yu Yin asked, puzzled. The immortal glanced at Yu Yin, would telling him the truth help? Could he clearly explain to you how to cultivate into the Mahayana realm? He left out one sentence. He had already imagined the power of the Mahayana realm as much as he could. However, Zhang Li's Mahayana realm was even more absurd. He was too ashamed to tell the truth. Yu Yin was speechless. Indeed, after listening to Zhang Li's lecture, all he could think was, where am I? Who am I? What am I doing? How could a blink of an eye bring so much information? Reading arcane text was easier than listening to Zhang Li's lectures. Creating spiritual energy out of nothing, using unlimited spiritual energy to break through the realm, and naturally cultivating into the Mahayana realm. What the hell was he talking about? So, all the things you said before about the extraterritorial demons cultivating negative emotions, the various theories about the origins of the extraterritorial demons in the immortal realm, how easy it is for the immortal realm to deal with the extraterritorial demons, how hard it is to find the lair of the extraterritorial demons, and that the extraterritorial demons have their own god, also about the earth immortal level and celestial level extraterritorial demons. With an expressionless face, the immortal said, I made it all up. Luckily, Zhang Li broke the news today. You don't know what kind of hustle it was for me every time this kid asked me about new intelligence on extraterritorial demons. I had to improvise on the spot and ensure consistency. The immortal suddenly became excited. Even when my master was testing me on the Tao, I wasn't this nervous. Today, the immortal has decided to come clean. Damn the extraterritorial demons. I knew nothing about them and finally, I don't have to fabricate any more information about them anymore. If he kept going, he would start believing in extraterritorial demons himself. This Mahayana realm of Zhang Li, rather than be called a new realm, should be called a new species. Bai Hongtu analyzed, look, it is said that there is an eternal divide between mortals and immortals, they are two different species. Mortals can be divided into ordinary people to the transcendence tribulation stage. The realm of immortals includes earth immortals, heavenly immortals, and so on. Mahayana realm corresponds to immortals, the lower limit is earth immortals, and the upper limit is Tao ancestor, oh, even stronger than Tao ancestor. So Zhang Li is neither a human nor an immortal. Bai Hongtu continued to agitate, since you're the only one in the Mahayana realm, it's still not too late to rename the Mahayana realm. I think calling it the Zhang Li realm would not be bad. You could subdivide the Mahayana realm and add our names to it. For example, the early stage of Zhang Li's realm could be called the Bai Hongtu realm, the middle stage could be called the Yu Yin realm, the later stage could be called the Pure Heart realm, and the peak of Zhang Li's realm. Oh, we need to leave a place for you, so the peak of Zhang Li's realm can be called the peak of Zhang Li's realm. What a mess. Zhang Li slammed the immortal pill on the table, and Bai Hongtu quickly shut up. Zhang Li turned his head and asked, the supposed fear of living beings before death has often been mentioned as a deterrent for extraterritorial demons, but in fact, it's the immortals who fear it. Why would the immortals be afraid? Bai Hongtu and Yu Yin were also drawn to this question. With the strength of the immortal realm, it would be easy to destroy the 10,000 realms. Why go through all this trouble? At first, I didn't understand why, but recently, you've received information from the martial arts ring universe. Bai Hongtu reminded, it has been 10 years since the ring universe. The immortal glared at Bai Hongtu. Do you think people were first, or heavenly Tao was first? Of course, heavenly Tao was first. The immortal shook his head, wrong, people were first. Heavenly Tao is a collective manifestation of the will of all living beings. There is no heavenly Tao without people. People come before the heavens, this is what Master said. The more worlds heavenly Tao governs, the more beings there are, the stronger it is. Heavenly ladder is a tool to strengthen governance. When Master destroyed the heavenly ladder, it was not only to make it difficult for the immortal realm to find the 10,000 realms but also to weaken the governance of heavenly Tao over the 10,000 realms. Realms that cannot be fully controlled are very likely to give birth to a new heavenly Tao. I suspect that the immortals' desire for the 10,000 realms to die a slow death is because they fear the emergence of a new heavenly Tao. The heavenly Tao of the immortal realm cannot tolerate the emergence of a new heavenly Tao. What really puzzles me is why, after gaining consciousness, heavenly Tao became obsessed with the destruction of all beings. What does it gain from this? Does it benefit at all? Heavenly Tao should aspire to govern more living beings rather than fewer. Moreover, heavenly Tao is the embodiment of the will of all beings. Since all beings do not wish to die, heavenly Tao should follow the will. The actions of the heavenly Tao are bizarre, and I can't explain it. Instead of that, I'm more curious about how heavenly Tao acquired consciousness. Is it really just because there's too much spiritual energy? The immortal looked peculiar. You should know that the master has done a lot of research on consciousness. Yin-Yang Heaven Seal is the best example. Of course, we know about that. So the next thing my master said was not a joke but a reasonable guess. Master said that the reason heavenly Tao developed consciousness was that there were too many people pointing upwards, shouting, "Oh heaven, open your eyes." Heavenly Tao, following the desires of the living beings, awakens consciousness. If you hadn't said it in advance, I would really think that the Tao ancestor was joking. Chapter 412. Respected God Hidden. Zhongli really did not expect such a ludicrous explanation for the emergence of spiritual intelligence in the heavenly Tao. When people feel wronged, it is a natural instinct to cry out for justice to the heavens. And yet heaven did respond. People also often curse others, praying to the heavens to strike them down. Could this be the origin of heavenly tribulations? Bai Hongtu approached the matter from a different angle. Zhongli and Yu Yin shifted uneasy, moving a little away from Bai Hongtu. Bai Hong could admit to being a bloody fool, but he should not drag them into his self-deprecation. Knowing the origins of the spiritual intelligence in the heavenly Tao, many things became explainable. For example, the Yin-Yang Heaven Seal can review the cause and effect of all people in the 9 provinces. It can locate the position of the Tao sect even after the 3 corpses have merged. However, it cannot locate any of the predecessors who ascended to the immortal realm. Those ascended predecessors either died in the turmoil in the immortal realm, or they submitted to the heavenly Tao and altered their cause and effect. Therefore, it wasn't that the Yin-Yang Heaven Seal was deficient in reading the way of cause and effect, rather, it encountered an extraordinarily odd situation. Poor Yin-Yang Heaven Seal kept worrying about its uselessness and was still diligently researching methods to cultivate a spiritual treasure. Fair immortal, have you ever heard of some people whose statues can't be shattered? Like this person was powerful in the past, and his image is not to be tarnished or damaged. I have never heard of such a rumor. Do statues of Tao sect and Buddha have any power that makes them hard to destroy? The everlasting immortal looked at Zhongli with a puzzled look, not understanding why he would ask such a strange question. How can that be? A statue is a statue. What material it is made of determines its hardness. Its hardness wouldn't change due to the image of the statue. If a statue is hard to destroy, then I should have used my master's statue to smash the heavenly demons long ago. Wouldn't it be better than an immortal artifact? Bai Hongtu reminded his overly engaged master, not a heavenly demon, a fallen immortal. The everlasting immortal glared at Bai Hongtu. This ungrateful disciple was constantly undermining him. Zhongli became even more puzzled. Since the heavenly demons are your creation, what on earth is the respected God hidden? The everlasting immortal was more puzzled than Zhongli. What is the respected God hidden? Zhongli then remembered, to prevent the everlasting immortal from obtaining the reward by killing someone, he did not mention the name of the respected God hidden to him. Zhongli casually made a small statue of the respected God hidden and handed it to the immortal. This is the respected God hidden. Try and see if you can smash this statue. I told you before, as long as you kill someone, you can get a reward with the prerequisite of believing in a deity. You say this deity is the belief of the heavenly demons, responsible for delivering rewards. I thought that the heavenly demons have other gods, like the ones governing war and birth. I was prepared to fight with the gods of the heavenly demons. Zhongli had made many assumptions and countermeasures against the heavenly demons that the everlasting immortal had mentioned. As it turns out, all these assumptions turned out to be futile. An unknown figure. The everlasting immortal muttered and smashed it casually. Something surprising happened. It was just a clay statue, but it couldn't be shattered no matter what. You have to understand that even without using immortal power, his body is still an earth immortal body, indestructible through countless calamities. How can the power of an earth immortal fail in shattering a small statue? The everlasting immortal then took it seriously, smashing it with all his might. The Tao sect experienced a big earthquake, yet the statue remained unharmed. Bai Hongtu and Yu Yin, seeing this, got excited and each tried. They found that even if they used the Transcendence Tribulation stage spell, they still could not destroy the statue of the respected God Hidden. What exactly is this thing? Zhongli explained the respected God Hidden, the God Hidden cult, the sacrifice of the Heaven Origin City, and the old Buddha being the real culprit behind these events in detail to the three of them. Only then did Yu Yin find out that the Heaven Origin City had the God Hidden cult behind it. The one who laid down the Absolute Spirit formation in the royal city was the old Buddha. Bai Hongtu finally understood why Zhongli had killed the old Buddha. He had seen Zhongli in sorrow before but did not ask too much. Now that Zhongli spoke about the events, he finally understood the inside story. Yu Yin speculated, murder rewards merit. How strange. Could it be that the respected God Hidden is a big figure in the immortal realm on par with the Tao sect? The everlasting immortal shook his head. Don't underestimate the power of merit. Just as the status of the dead relies on reward for the good they did, reward is crucial to the living. This is the authority of the heavenly Tao, and no immortal can have the ability to distribute rewards. In my opinion, the respected God Hidden is not some individual or immortal god. I suspect it's an entity akin to an incarnation of the heavenly Tao. The everlasting immortal looked to Zhongli. Haven't you also said it? The premise of gaining power of rewards is to treat the respected God Hidden as everything. Correspondingly, everything revolves around the respected God Hidden, and everything mirrors the will of the respected God Hidden. Rather than calling it a god, I would say it is the omnipresent heavenly Tao. Bai Hongtu suddenly realized, no wonder Zhongli couldn't get even a bit of merit despite his many outstanding contributions. I thought it was because the staircase to immortality was broken, preventing the descent of the rewards. In actuality, the method to obtain rewards has changed. Heavenly Tao wants to kill, but Zhongli is always trying to save people. The everlasting immortal spoke, believing in the respected God Hidden is the equivalent of recognizing a new heavenly Tao. Or more accurately, of knowing. Knowing about the birth of the new heavenly Tao. Anyone who kills after knowing about the birth of the new heavenly Tao could obtain the power of rewards. This means that from now on, any one of us, as long as we kill, can get the power of rewards. Yu Yin curiously asked, Fair Immortal looks certain about this, does that mean you have known about this a long time ago? The everlasting immortal with solemn expression, this is what I am going to talk about next. You all should know that the heavenly demons are very powerful. Even when the human emperor died in battle, it doesn't always result in taking a heavenly demon down with them. In these cases, it's my turn to come forward. This had happened several times in history. Every time I confronted the heavenly demons, I could only secure a narrow victory, with immense exhaustion of immortal power. By usual judgment, my spiritual energy would have been exhausted by now, but in reality, it was not. Do you know why? The everlasting immortal was never one to be enigmatic. After inquiring, he quickly answered himself. I knew about the emergence of spiritual intelligence in the heavenly Tao before the staircase to immortality disappeared. After I killed the first fallen immortal who descended onto the 9 provinces, I obtained this. The everlasting immortal opened his palm, revealing a golden globe of light. It was gleaming with gold, emitting a sense of warmth. This substance was familiar to everyone. It was the same material as the merit gold brick from the Dream River dynasty. The power of merit, Bai Hongtu exclaimed. Zhongli and Yu Yin also looked solemn. Yes, killing fallen immortal also grants the power of merit. However, the immortal power transformed by the power of merit was too little to make up for the gap in immortal power produced by the battle with the fallen immortals. But having the power of merit is better than not having any at all. It is the immortal power converted from the power of merit that has allowed me to live to this day. All of the immortal power in my body now was converted from the power of merit. Chapter 413, The Statue of Zhongli. Killing fallen immortals can also gain merit. Zhongli shook his head slightly, this matter was strange. The heavenly Tao destroys all beings, so killing can gain merit, this could still be understandable. But to say that killing fallen immortals can also gain merit, could it be that the heavenly Tao not only wanted to destroy all the 10,000 realms, but also wanted to destroy the immortal realm? This doesn't make sense. What on earth is it plotting? Seeking peace of mind. Ever since knowing the reason for the heavenly Tao becoming conscious, Zhongli's perception of the heavenly Tao had undergone a complete turnaround. Regal Immortal handed a figurine of respected god hidden to Zhang Li, saying seriously, so you should know the power of the heavenly Tao now. Even a figurine incarnated from it is so hard. Zhang Li took the figurine, gently applied force, and broke it in half. Regal Immortal. The master is very powerful, but even he can't prevent an image from being damaged. Even if you are stronger than him, you shouldn't be much stronger. Zhang Li gave his own figurine to Regal Immortal, indicating him to smash it. Regal Immortal exerted force but could not break Zhang Li's figurine. Regal Immortal. It was hard to continue the conversation from there. In any case, you now know the truth, you are bound to face the powerful immortal realm and the heavenly Tao that reigns above all. Be prepared, this is bound to be a cruel battle of life and death. Regal Immortal did not elaborate further, forcibly concluded, and said what he wanted to say. Figurine of respected god hidden is very hard, I need to use the power of a heavenly immortal to break it. Zhang Li explained to the three of them. Bai Hongtu curiously smashed Zhang Li's figurine with all his strength. And naturally, the figurine was intact. Yu Yin glanced at Bai Hongtu, feeling that he was treating them differently. Bai Hongtu did not use so much force when smashing the figurine of respected god hidden. Then how much force did you need to smash your own figurine? Zhang Li felt Bai Hongtu's question was stupid. The figurine's image is myself, how can the hard characteristics of the figurine affect me? Naturally, it broke as soon as it was touched. If you want to prove which figurine is harder, you can only find a heavenly immortal to experiment. But now the heavenly immortals are in the immortal realm, where can you find? Zhang Li paused and recalled that there seemed to be a somewhat foolish heavenly immortal in Jojo. Alright, coming to find you, immortal, we just wanted to discuss these matters. Immortal, you should enjoy your retirement. Let the young ones take over next. With the matter concluded, Zhang Li stood up to bid Constable Immortal farewell. Yu Yin felt the trip was worthwhile, having learned so many secrets and returned to the Heaven Origin Emperor dynasty. Bai Hongtu pondered with the little figurine of Zhang Li, feeling that he had been too hasty in making a plan to defeat Zhang Li. The first step in defeating Zhang Li, should I break the figurine first? Constable Immortal beside him was worried that Bai Hongtu might not even be able to take the first step. Master, could you invent a few more realms? For example, something like a realm of wandering immortals. Maybe, I could make a breakthrough. Bai Hongtu was eager to try, and looked at Eternal Master as if he had the ability to grant whatever he asked. Eternal Master rolled his eyes and ignored Bai Hongtu. Zhang Li arrived in Red Dust Pure Heart Paradise. It was just as serene as ever, isolated from the world, tranquil and timeless. Oceans had turned to mulberry fields, and the world had changed too much. The only constant was the Red Dust Pure Heart Paradise. Quietly nestled in the western corner of Jojo, it was at peace with the world. Could you please announce that Zhang Li is here to visit? Zhang Li spoke to the two female disciples at the gate. He always felt that the innocent look in their eyes changed when they saw him. As though they want to eat him up. It must have been just an illusion. The Saintess of Pure Heart descended from the mountain with a flushed face, led Zhang Li up the mountain. Getting out of bed, she looked after Red Dust Pure Heart Paradise while the teacher of Clear Desire was visiting the Buddha's place. Zhang Li realized it was not an illusion. The female disciples of Red Dust Pure Heart Paradise heard about his arrival and dropped their books to come and see him. They looked at him in the same way as the two disciples at the gate. Zhang Li noticed that they were not studying Buddhist scriptures techniques. Instead, they were reading, The Domineering Mahayana Fell in Love with Me Part 2. This thing had a part 2. Didn't the first part end with the two getting married and having twins? How could the story continue from there? Zhang Li had read the first part. The content was cringy, to the extent that he broke the space and shattered the void. What happened next? Did the two divorce and reconcile? Or did the male protagonist lose his memory and start all over? Looking at the female disciples, each of them holding a copy. It seemed that the second part was quite popular. Did you come here to find me? Saintess of Pure Heart was apprehensive and clenched her skirt's corner. Got half of it right. What do you mean? I came to find your master. How is this considered half right? Your master, out of 4 words you guessed 2 correctly. Quote. Zhang Li once again found the fairy of red dust. She was just as naive and carefree, worry-free as ever. When staying around her, one couldn't help but be affected by her surroundings, relaxing. Greetings, fairy. The human emperor is polite. The fairy of red dust responded, deliberately putting up a serious look. But she was just lying on the lawn, with leaves in her hair as she got up that it was impossible for her to look serious no matter what. Saintess of Pure Heart stepped forward to tidy up the fairy's appearance. Don't move, there's a leaf here. Oh, Zhongli took out the figurines of respected god hidden in Zhongli. Is this for me? The fairy of red dust looked at the figurine of Zhongli and couldn't bear to part with it. She had seen many figurines of Zhongli when she was out playing, but she never had the chance to buy one. As for the figurine of respected god hidden, the fairy of red dust ignored it. Odd-looking figurines without any aesthetic appeal. If you like it, fairy, I can give you 2 more. However, before that, could you try to crush these 2 figurines? Red Dust Fairy was unsure of Zhongli's request but followed it anyway. What a hard figurine. She gripped the figurine of respected god hidden, and it took all her strength to crush it. However, as for the figurine of Zhongli, even when the fairy used all her strength her face turned red with effort, it didn't break no matter what. What material did you use for this figurine? Even I can't crush it. The fairy of red dust couldn't understand. Zhongli smiled, but did not explain. Instead, he gave the fairy his own figurine as a thank you gift. With the fairy of red dust's practice, he had a rough estimate of respected god hidden's strength. He was weaker than Zhongli. Right, can you give me another figurine? What does fairy want with 2? The fairy of red dust giggled. To give as a gift. After Zhongli left, the fairy of red dust gave 1 figurine to Saintess of Pure Heart. How did Master know I like this figurine? Saintess of Pure Heart was overjoyed and planned to place the figurine in the meditating site so she could focus better during meditation, thus achieving twice the result with half the effort. Because unlike the human emperor, I'm not blind. Leaving the paradise of red dust Pure Heart, Zhongli suddenly remembered that he was immune to the fairy's charm. Fairy is the embodiment of the beauty of heavenly Tao's creation. Practitioners can't do without heavenly Tao, and thus they can't resist the charm of the fairy. Could it be that I am stronger than the heavenly Tao and thus immune? Chapter 414, The World of Zombies returns to normal. Wait, if there are no heavenly demons from other realms, then how did the respected god hidden statue end up only half intact? Zhongli suddenly remembered the reason he went to the parallel world, not to travel through time and space, but to find out who had destroyed the respected god hidden statue. Initially, I thought it was a battle between the heavenly immortals and the heavenly demons from other realms that accidentally affected the statue of respected god hidden, but now it seems that this hypothesis is totally unsupported. How could heavenly immortals possibly fight with heavenly demons from other realms? Could it be that there is an immortal who is resisting the heavenly Tao? That shouldn't be possible either. The Grand Master at the very end of the immortal path has already fallen, so how could any immortal still be resisting? Zhongli pondered hard, but couldn't come up with an answer. Forget it, let's go take a look at the zombie world. Transfer, zombie world, deduction of 126,882 source points, remaining source points, initiating transfer. On the calm sea surface, a sudden storm whipped up a surge of waves. Marine creatures were the first to sense the dangerous fluctuations and fled in panic. Among them were predators like killer whales and great white sharks, and even massive creatures like blue whales were also fleeing. 2 figures were visible amidst the waves, deploying brilliant yet dangerous spells. Any average person affected by them would have no chance of survival. Sister, be careful. Luo Ying moved swiftly across the waves without even touching the water due to his high speed. Luo Ying snapped his 2 fingers together and lifted them upward, causing a whirlpool to form on the sea surface and a column of water to soar into the sky, as if a submarine volcano had erupted. Luo Ying, who is now in the late golden core stage, conjured this spell effortlessly. Luo Zhu took a small step forward without saying a word, and an ice floor appeared under her feet, rapidly spreading and freezing the water column. Luo Zhu, at the pinnacle of the golden core stage, has a single spiritual root in ice. The frozen water column exploded, releasing countless balls of fire that raced towards Luo Zhu along with the explosion waves. Luo Ying has dual spiritual roots in water and fire. Luo Zhu simply lifted her hand, and a wall of ice blocked the fireballs, emitting a melting sound. The ice wall kept expanding and rising, concluding in a massive ice tsunami that fiercely struck Luo Ying. The continuous counterattacks of the siblings caused significant climate changes within the entire oceanic area. It seems that Master Luo Ying has already reached the level of enlightenment. I have only witnessed his disciples before, and their magical immortal techniques already left me in awe, but only now, after seeing Master Luo Ying in person, do I realize that the disciples were not being modest when they said that they are far worse than their master. On the shore, the government officials sent to pick up Luo Ying and Luo Zhu were whispering to each other. Some of them were using binoculars to watch the fighting figures in the distance, while others were monitoring the meteorological map through satellite surveillance. The identities of Luo Ying and Luo Zhu are extraordinary, their every action could potentially affect the world. The government used satellites to keep constant surveillance on their movements. Apart from using transportation, if the duo's movement speed exceeded 20 kilometers per second, the government would send professionals to understand the cause of their high-speed movement. Master Luo Zhu is not bad either. After the zombie crisis ended, she immersed herself in learning, adopting scientific thinking to spiritual cultivation, stating that doing so could help objectively analyze progress in cultivation and make cool-headed judgments during battles. Master Luo Zhu studied in a university for several years, and her beauty attracted many vain attempts to court her. Although our government secretly intervened, we knew that such actions would not escape the attention of Master Luo Zhu. The government always worried that Master Luo Zhu wouldn't stand for it and would take action against those who pry on the financiers behind them. Later, when the messenger of the underworld descended, the ancestor of the Luo family took action again. Since then, the identity of Master Luo Zhu couldn't be kept hidden any longer. After that, Master Luo Zhu left the academy, left the city, retreated into mountains and deep forests for secluded cultivation and greatly advanced her cultivation level. Before this, I had thought that strength had a direct connection to renown. As Luo Ying was the elder brother and more famous, it was only natural to assume that he was stronger than his sister. But now it seems that the stronger one is actually his quiet and unassuming sister. The battle between the siblings was coming to an end, and even these bystanders could see who had won. I still can't beat you. Luo Ying sadly accepted his defeat, conceding wholeheartedly. What Mr. Zhang said is true, you possess better talent than me in spiritual cultivation and stronger battle consciousness. Luo Zhu disagreed with her brother's opinion. You divided your attention to teaching others how to use the spiritual energy diagram for their cultivation. Teaching others is a good deed, but it's a pity that I can't help you with that. Unlike you, I don't have the eloquence to teach. The battle between the siblings was over, and the sea surface returned to calm while the government lifted the alarm. The two walked on the sea, exchanging insights on the battle. Every month they would engage in this battle in a deserted place. Luo Ying, being the elder brother, usually lost. Master Luo Ying, Master Luo Zhu. The government officials greeted respectfully. Some had wanted to refer to Luo Ying as King Ying, but Luo Ying firmly declined. King Ying was a title from his past life. He had no intention of maintaining any connections with his past life. Since he had been granted a second chance at life, he should focus on the present. What is it? The World Union Conference is about to convene, and they would like you two to attend. The government official respectfully gestured, inviting them onto the helicopter. Has it really come to this? Luo Ying nodded and boarded the plane. He still remembered the government sending a notice half a month ago about the forthcoming World Union Conference. After his secluded cultivation and then the battle with his sister, half a month had passed without him noticing. What is the agenda for this conference? How to deal with the summoner of souls from the underworld? Luo Zhu shook her head slightly. This was simply a waste of time. The most powerful entities in their world were her brother, the divinity transformation stage, Shadow King Buddha, and a few 6th-rank zombies. Based on Luo Zhu's first-hand experience of the oppression brought by the Summoner of Souls, she could easily judge the gap between the Shadow King Buddha and the Summoner. Luo Zhu was certain that their world had no means to cope with the Summoner of Souls, even if all nations united. Originally, there were several nations in the zombie world, but upon learning from Luo Ying that they had already died once and were revived by him, an action which could violate the rules of the underworld and lead to their removal, they put aside their past animosity. In order to deal with the underworld, the nations united, hoping that mutual assistance could prove effective. It would be better to wait until black and white impermanence arrive and then inform Mr. Zhang. Luo Zhu muttered, reaching instinctively for the remote communication talisman. Suddenly, Luo Zhu's eyes widened in surprise. The remote communication talisman she touched was physical. The remote communication talisman is a product of the JoJo world, and due to the fact that other worlds cannot interfere with the zombie world, the siblings could never lay their hands on the remote communication talisman made by Bai Hongtu. But now they could. The siblings exchanged a look, expressing their mutual joy. Could it be our world has normalized, and Mr. Zhang can directly interfere with our world now? In their eyes, as long as Zhang Li was able to directly intervene, there would be no difficulty that couldn't be resolved. We have arrived at the destination, both of you. Chapter 415. No formalities, let's merge straight into Kyushu. The World Federation leader, who in actuality controls the entire globe, smiles when he sees Luo Ying and Luo Zhu. Let's welcome Saint Luo Ying and Grandmaster Luo Zhu with a round of applause. Both of them nodded their heads in response and sat in the VIP seats. From their positions, it was evident that they were held in higher regard than the representatives from various countries. I believe everyone is already aware of the topic for this conference. Yes, we are still discussing how to deal with the soul-collecting messenger. The last few discussions have not yielded any useful conclusions. I hope this time will be different. The country representatives, as usual, gave speeches that were grand but meaningless. Even if they implemented their proposals, they would be useless against the soul-collecting messenger. Yet, there were also some who chose a different approach. I think we're all just speaking without any practical suggestions. The Federation leader was intrigued. Representative Hong, please proceed with your thoughts. According to Saint Luo Ying and Grand Master Luo Zhu, the underworld is a place that values reason and adheres to rules, right? The siblings nodded. Their knowledge about the underworld was acquired from Zhang Li, who in turn learned it from the Immortal Elder. If knowledge was not transferable, the knowledge possessed by Representative Hong would be labeled as second-hand knowledge. So, we should just follow the rules. The Federation leader asked, "You mean you want to convince the black and white impermanents that our resurrection is due to irresistible forces and ask for a special dispensation?" Representative Hong shook his head. "We have a surrender system in our legal system, it's a sign of a mature civilization. Likewise, the underworld should also have a surrender system. So you mean, we commit suicide and surrender in the underworld?" Quote. Representative Hong continued, "With luck, we might even be able to reincarnate as humans in the next life." Enough, stop your impassioned speech. The Federation leader interrupted Representative Hong's speech. Any other viewpoints? I heard that the underworld advocates good deeds. The more good deeds you do, the better treatment you receive after death. The more good deeds you do, the more merit you accumulate. So you mean, I have already contacted our nation's livestock and aquaculture farms to stop the killing and start releasing animals. We will all become vegetarians. Releasing livestock and aquatic creatures is considered a good deed. In addition, our country has also launched a merit-generating machine. The representative then took out an object resembling an electric fan. A fish was tied to the fan, and the fan blades were immersed in water. To gain good deeds, we let the fish back into the water. As long as I spin the fan, the fish will enter the water. Each time it enters, the merit increases. By repeating this process, we constantly accumulate merit. Luo Ying questioned, "But, when the fish comes out of the water, won't the merit decrease?" "It's the fan that lifts the fish out of the water, why would that deduct my merit?" The Federation leader, "You party may sound even more nonsensical than those who talk grandly about nothing. I have another idea, speak. Don't we often burn paper money for the dead? Why don't we burn some for the black and white impermanents? Would bribery work? But would the underworld accept our paper money? The Lord of the Underworld pictured on our paper money is fabricated. Then how about we print someone else's face? Who? Our ancestor from the Luo family, no I mean, the benevolent Zhang human emperor from the Jojo world. What if we print him on our paper money? Didn't Saint Luo Ying say that Zhang human emperor accumulated enormous merit? Such amount of merit is rarely seen in the underworld. He would be considered a figure of great weight in the underworld after he would pass away. Therefore, the underworld should recognize paper money printed with his image." Luo Ying shook her head, "Don't bother. Mr. Zhang has mentioned that humans often burn billions and trillions in paper money for the underworld. If the underworld acknowledged it, they would have experienced hyperinflation by now. Maybe that bit makes sense." Luo Zhu found it a bit odd to discuss the burning of paper money in such a solemn setting. "I think you should consider whether the paper money you burn can even reach the underworld." An unfamiliar voice echoed throughout the conference room, causing the special agents from various countries to stir, pulling out their guns and remaining on high alert. Only Luo Ying and Luo Zhu reacted differently, their faces unveiling a look of joy. "No need to welcome me with such excitement." Zhang Li appeared without a sound, waving at the special agents. The agents were shocked to find that an invisible force was pressing down on their hands, mild yet stern, forcing them to lower their guns. Zhang Li found the way these people thought amusing. But come to think of it, could paper money with his face on it even be burnt? "Mr. Zhang." The siblings excitedly got off the stage to greet Zhang Li. This unremarkable man was the legendary human emperor of Jojo. The representatives from various countries were taken aback and instantly straightened their postures. During the time Zhang Li was in the zombie world, no images of him were circulated, so they had never seen him before. However, they had heard stories about Zhang Li from Luo Ying and Luo Zhu. Though Luo Ying and Luo Zhu might seem powerful, in JoJo, the Golden Core stage cultivators were a dime a dozen. Even in her Shadow King Buddha mode, Luo Ying could only reach the divinity transformation stage, which in JoJo, barely put her on par with the king of a small country, or the lord of a large city. Even their world's strongest, a level 6 zombie, wouldn't cause even a ripple in JoJo, where a cultivator of the body integration realm could fight 5 to 6 of them. Above the body integration realm is the Transcendence Tribulation stage. The stage above is the Mahayana realm, which is the stage of the legendary Zhang Human Emperor. You've cultivated well. You're progressing quickly and have a solid foundation. Zhang Li commended the siblings, noticing that despite them being at the Golden Core stage, their strength was so formidable that they could easily take on any nascent soul cultivator in the early stage. They had indeed been well trained. Mr. Zhang, can you directly influence us now? Luo Ying asked excitedly. I asked an expert proficient in the Tao of Time to repair your timeline. Emperor Shun surpassed everyone, including the immortals, in the Tao of Time. Greetings to Zhang Human Emperor. The Federation leader did not extend his hand in a handshake, but held his fists together in a salute to Zhang Li. Are you the ruler of this planet? Zhang Li had seen the current situation of the zombie world through his divine sense. I wouldn't say ruler. My position is just for representation purposes, granted to me by the support of everyone, allowing me to represent the whole planet. The Federation leader was modest, not daring to boast about his high status in front of Zhang Li. No matter how high his status was, he was after all just the leader of a planet. Zhang Li, on the other hand, could obliterate the planet with just a snap of his fingers. I am here today to discuss with you. The Federation leader immediately said, we are willing to merge into the JoJo world. What I mean is, perhaps we could start by letting a small number of people to exchange and learn from each other. We are willing to merge into the JoJo world. The Federation leader was adamant. He, along with several other country leaders, had inquired Luo Ying on how their world could integrate into the JoJo world. Luo Ying's reply was to unite the voices of all countries first, only then their planet could be considered as a whole. That was the real reason why all countries united and formed the Federation. The most reliable method to protect themselves from being taken away by the black and the white impermanence was to merge into the JoJo world. Chapter 416, Friendship Treaty Between Two Worlds. Fair to say, Zhang Li felt these people were too afraid of black and white impermanence. Although he thought their methods were somewhat brutal, they were still reasonable, the underworld very likely wouldn't take them back. But judging from the appearance of these people, even if he explained it to them, the majority wouldn't believe him. They all seemed to want to cling to the 9 provinces instead. Originally, Zhang Li was thinking of following the same process he had with the Mingzhong world, exchanging information with only a small group of intellectuals first, increasing communication, then eventually expanding relations with the 9 provinces. Now, they had jumped straight to the 3rd step. Even the Mingzhong world had only reached the 2nd step so far. Since their intention was to establish good relations with the 9 provinces, Zhang Li went along with it. Don't worry, I'll draft the rules and agreements first. When establishing a connection between the 2 worlds, it was natural to have official ceremonies and documents. Once we formally establish diplomatic relations and create a spatial passageway, would you 2 siblings like to go to the 9 provinces for further development? Luo Ying hesitated, but I still need to continue teaching people how to become immortals. Luo Zhu, on the other hand, was more far-sighted. Brother, once the cultivators from the 9 provinces come over, there will naturally be private tutors coming to our world to replace your duty. Zhang Li nodded. That's right. Luo Ying was relieved. The 9 provinces offered greater opportunities. If they could go to 9 provinces, they definitely should. When Zhang Li found Gigi, he had just finished his morning court assembly. You look exhausted. Did something happen again? Gigi cast an envious look at the ever-energetic Zhang Li and sighed. We're deciding whether we should amend the law. Gigi took out something that looked like a helmet. This is a holographic simulator I purchased from the Mingzhong world. Wearing this, you can freely visualize anything you want, as if you're inside an illusion. To prevent addiction though, you can only use it once a day for no longer than 2 hours. Sounds good. What's the issue? As exchanges between the 9 provinces and the Mingzhong world increased, it was becoming more common to see cultivators using various high-tech devices. For instance, during a competition held between the Great Yang and Wuyu dynasties, Zhang Li observed a few curious phenomena while overseeing the competition from an undisclosed location. The competition rules prohibited the use of spiritual treasures of a higher level than the cultivator's own. Despite this, Chi cultivation stage cultivators were using weapons like bazookas and grenades, which left their opponents dumbfounded. The firepower of these weapons, which could only be blocked by those at Foundation establishment stage, was unleashed against opponents who were at the Chi cultivation stage. Naturally, they stood no chance. Besides that, there were Foundation establishment stage cultivators using depleted uranium bullets, and Golden Core stage cultivators employing mech suits quite flashy indeed. Initially, I thought there was no issue with the holographic simulator, but then a new model appeared on the market. It allows the users to imagine intimate scenarios with all sorts of beautiful women once they put it on. How did the Mingzhong world handle this? They split it into all ages and adult versions. You could do the same then. GG pointed to the holographic simulator. This is the adult version of the holographic simulator. A 12-year-old boy had his 200-year-old great-grandfather buy it for their shared use. Quote, the holographic simulator can detect the age of the user, but that was designed for the Mingzhong world. Do you see these runes on the holographic simulator? There are cultivators in the 9 provinces who can deceive the simulator's mechanism with spells. Zhang Li felt that was absolutely absurd. Did you come to find me for a reason? I just communicated with the zombie world. They are interested in establishing contact with the 9 provinces. I was thinking of asking you to draft a diplomatic document. That would not be difficult. GG stopped talking and used his ability to gaze into the future. In the future, he found some officials who were experts in law and diplomacy to write the document Zhang Li requested. GG feverishly penned the documents that would emerge in the future. Here, these should suffice. GG handed over a jade pendant. Zhang Li scanned it with his divine sense, and found that the text was meticulously chosen and professionally written as expected. There's another thing. Some time ago, I took a trip to the River of Time and met your ancestor, Emperor Shun. You encountered our ancestor. GG shot up from his seat. Meeting Emperor Shun in the River of Time was the ultimate desire of his family, the Ji clan. But Emperor Shun seemed uninterested in meeting them and had never appeared. Yet, the second time Zhang Li had entered the River of Time, he had accomplished what generations of the Ji clan couldn't achieve. The bias was undeniable. They believed that they had treated their ancestor well, offering tributes they deemed sufficiently precious every year. Emperor Shun is a good man. He gave me a lot of insights. He said that his method of time manipulation was the most powerful, and that nobody in the immortal realm could outclass him. Zhang Li recounted his encounter with Emperor Shun to GG. No wonder we couldn't find our ancestor in the immortal realm after our clan members had ascended. Even Elder Longkun had no idea where our ancestor was. It turns out that after ascending, our ancestor spent all his time in the River of Time. Why would you tell me this, about you meeting our ancestor? To rub it in, GG slams the table. So you think you're great because you're at the Mahayana stage, huh? Wait till I reach the body integration realm. I'll go 500 years back in time to beat you up. Your Majesty, Zhang Li has already left. GG rolled his eyes. Nonsense, would I dare say this in front of him? He and Zhang Li had met at the Great Zhou Royal Academy. Ever since meeting him, GG never won against Zhang Li. If he wasn't getting beaten horribly, he was on his way to getting beaten horribly. With Zhang Li's encouragement, he, who was not good at battling, rose from the bottom to become the second strongest in his grade. He would remember Zhang Li for a lifetime. To create a stable spatial passageway, it needed to be fed with spiritual energy for maintenance. Thus, Zhang Li approached the corpse-driving sect and explained the situation in the zombie world in great detail. The high-ranking members of the corpse-driving sect readily agreed to provide the necessary spiritual energy upon hearing about zombie world. What could be more wonderful than a world teeming with zombies? A world filled with zombies, it's practically a paradise. The sect master of the corpse-driving sect's eyes lit up at the prospect, wishing he could go to the zombie world right now. They were currently in need of materials, which Zhang Li brought to them. He was truly considerate. Zhang Li felt that in a certain sense, the corpse-driving sect was correct. After all, the current immortal realm was riddled with the bodies of mortals, deformed earth immortals, and fallen immortals, which didn't seem much different from a land teeming with zombies. Next, Zhang Li contacted the Sky Mechanism Tower, Vanara Pagoda and several other representatives of forces, inviting them to the zombie world. The Sky Mechanism Tower was to report on this matter in the Heavenly Machine Report, the Vanara Pagoda would establish the spatial passageway, and the rest were present for show. In 4820 of the Yan calendar, the 9 provinces world and the zombie world officially established diplomatic relations. The Human Emperor and the United Lords jointly signed the Mutually Beneficial Pact, the Trade Pact, and several other subsidiary pacts. The master of the Sky Mechanism Tower documented this historic moment, with the photo taking up an entire page of coverage. In this very moment, the earth veins of the 9 provinces had also quietly evolved. Chapter 417, The Temporarily Held Alchemy Conference. Task issued. The JoJo Alchemy Conference will be held as planned. You stand as an inheritor of the Heavenly Fire Immortal Mansion, mastering the way of fire manipulation to a miraculous degree. You also possess a growing pill furnace, the 100 Families Cauldron. In the field of alchemy, you are unparalleled among your equals. What you need now is an opportunity to establish your reputation. Make a name for yourself at the JoJo Alchemy Conference. This task cannot be abandoned. Task reward: an immortal elixir recipe, a ball of devouring sky flame, and a thread of Zanhuang Qi. Zhongli looked at this task, his face was a picture of surprise. He felt that he had skipped too many optional tasks, so that he now found the task descriptions unfamiliar. When did he become an inheritor of the Heavenly Fire Immortal Mansion, and when did he acquire the 100 Families Cauldron? Most importantly, when did he learn alchemy? Zhongli suddenly remembered that the Heavenly Fire Immortal Mansion was a place where heavenly fire fell, often debated by alchemy Taoists and spirit chefs about its true purpose. Should it be used for alchemy or for cooking? Spirit chefs focus on releasing the potential effects of spiritual materials to their maximum degree. The food they produce could affect even body integration realm cultivators. They constituted a powerful group and, overall, were no less important than alchemists. Surely, I once had a task to visit the Heavenly Fire Immortal Mansion, but I thought it was boring at the time, and since I could abandon it, I didn't actually go. The 100 Families Cauldron was similar, it was a reward for another task. As for alchemy, it should be a function of the system that forced me to learn. Skipping so many side tasks, I finally ran into one I can't skip. Zhongli felt helpless. He didn't particularly need to practice alchemy. Whenever he needed something, he could ask Su Wei, the chief of Dan Refining Peak. However, the JoJo Alchemy Conference is held once every 30 years, since it was held 500 years ago, it should not be held for a while now. Zhongli initially thought this task should be postponed. Unexpectedly, when he inquired further, he found that the Alchemy Conference was to be held ahead of schedule, and it would be located in the Lingyao sect of the Great Sui dynasty. When Zhongli came to the Lingyao sect, he found that alchemists from all over JoJo had already gathered here. I heard the Alchemy Conference is held once every 30 years, why is it ahead of schedule this time? Zhongli asked an alchemist. The good brother obviously does not belong to our field, hence does not have the necessary insights. Please explain. After the Yin-Yang Heaven Seal activated and awakened the spiritual treasures, most spiritual treasures obediently contracted and maintained friendly relationships with their masters. The Luban sect even married a spiritual treasure. However, we alchemists are different. We are proud. Pill furnaces too are proud. We often argue with pill furnaces about whose commands should be followed. What was the result? What could have been the result? When the pill furnaces are emotional, their flames fluctuate and the temperature changes unpredictably. In the end, discarded pills are made. It is unknown whether these discarded pills can be considered a product of the pill furnace or us. The most serious arguments occurred in the alchemy peak of the Tao sect. Sect Master Su Wei retired to the second line, and Red Crow Furnace became the new peak master. Zhongli thought that the Red Crow Furnace, which had been refining pills for nearly 11 hours a day, could hardly be called a peak master, it was more like an automatic pill refining machine. That alchemist didn't know this and continued. The Red Crow Furnace's success boosted the morale of all pill furnaces, who one by one showed the intention to follow in the Red Crow Furnace's footsteps. They wanted to rise against their masters, boasting that we, the alchemists, are merely the bellows operators. The situation gradually escalated, transforming into what we see today, hosting the JoJo Alchemy Conference ahead of schedule. We alchemists and pill furnaces will face off to see whose alchemy skills are truly superior. At this point, the alchemist sighed, it would be great if the human emperor could step in. Why do you say that? Who doesn't know of the human emperor's unparalleled alchemy skills? He can use the world as a furnace, faith as firewood, yin-yang qi as the fire, and refine a pill that manifests the 8 scenes of ascension. It is not like immortal pill, but better than immortal pill. In the eyes of the human emperor, alchemy is not just a skill anymore. It has risen to the level of concept, is something that people like us, in our ignorance, cannot compete with. I also heard that the human emperor refined a peerless elixir, which took the form of a female who accompanied the human emperor. It's true, I have a book as proof. Seeing Zhang Li's strange look, this alchemist pulled out a book. It was titled, Reincarnated as a Pill, Protected in the Palm of Pill Saint Zhang Li. Quote. This book unabashedly changed his identity, apparently he was not even the human emperor anymore. Zhang Li felt that he was likely to have found the source of the rumors about him. By the way, what brings you to this place, Taoist? My name is Jin Li. I've come to participate in the alchemy conference. I will be joining the body integration realm competition. So, you are a senior in the body integration realm. I apologize for the oversight. The alchemist showed great respect, assuming that since Zhang Li had been secluded in deep mountains for a long time and rarely goes out, it was natural for him not to be aware of the current state of alchemy. I've spotted an acquaintance, excuse me. Zhang Li said goodbye to the alchemist and went over to a person who had nothing to do with alchemy. Sword Lord, what are you doing here? Who? The Sword Lord didn't recognize Zhang Li, who had changed his appearance. It's me, Zhang Li, though I'm currently using the alias Jin Li. Human Emperor, what brings you here? The Sword Lord was surprised. I was the one who asked this question first. I'm here to participate in the alchemy conference. You know alchemy too. Zhang Li remembered that the Sword Lord only knew the sword Dao. I know a little, but I am better at refining the sword pill. Recently, I have been trying to compress infinite sword chi into a sword pill, but I have been failing consistently. I feel that there might be similarities between refining alchemical pills and sword pills. The competition happened to be taking place in the Great Sway, where my sword sect is located, so I plan to participate in the competition and learn from it. What about the human emperor? I am also here for the competition. Sword Lord breathed a sigh of relief. Originally, I was worried that participating in the competition by suppressing my cultivation to the body integration realm would be considered bullying, and thus felt uneasy. Unexpectedly, the human emperor would accompany me. But given the human emperor's alchemy standards, you're truly invincible here. You also know that I'm good at alchemy. Zhang Li was surprised, feeling like he was the only one in the world who didn't know that he was good at alchemy. I've heard a little. The Sword Lord was modest. Well, it's time to start the competition now. Everyone seems to have arrived. The speaker was none other than the brimming with confidence Red Crow Furnace. Next, let my bellows operator, Su Wei, speak. Su Wei was furious upon hearing this. He laid into Red Crow Furnace until it rang loudly. Even the furnace's lid was knocked off. The Red Crow Furnace was not willing to show weakness and fought back, only to be hit harder and cried out in pain. Huang Chengdan, the sect master of the Lingyao sect, looked sadly at Su Wei and the Red Crow Furnace. It was his Lingyao sect stage, why were these two fools stealing the limelight? However, seeing Su Wei showing off his power and soundly beating Red Crow Furnace, Huang Chengdan didn't dare to interfere. Damn, how is Su Wei, who maintains such a low profile, so powerful? As an alchemist, instead of practicing alchemy, you are cultivating your body. Is that reasonable? Su Wei then announced, I now declare the first temporary JoJo Alchemy Conference officially open. Below the stage, the alchemists and pill furnaces were clearly divided into two opposing sides, staring at each other, building a tense atmosphere, preparing to decisively determine the winner in this competition. Chapter 418, Automatic Alchemy Machine. The competition began with Qi cultivation stage cultivators. Watching the contests, Sword Monarch engaged in a conversation with Zhang Li. Sect Master Bai Hongtu seems to enjoy classifying everything into levels. I heard he once advocated organizing elixirs into 9 ranks, from the 1st grade to the 9th grade. The 1st grade being the highest and the 9th grade the lowest. I'm curious to know why these rankings ultimately faded into oblivion. The reason is simple, the basis for ranking a potion is its efficacy. But determining the grade of some potions can be tricky. For example, in the case of the Yang fortifying elixir produced by the Union sect. It can be used by everyone, from nascent souls to Qi cultivation cultivators. How would you grade this elixir? 9th or 5th? The term, Yang fortifying elixir, left Sword Monarch curious as he was unfamiliar with the term. Oh right, in your time it was known as the Union elixir. Similarly, the detoxification pill that can cure any poison below the golden core stage, it's also difficult to determine its grade. Take, for instance, the 9 turns immortal pill, which possesses the utmost rank and the greatest toxicity. Anyone who consumes it will die. Sword Monarch then proposed, what about ranking based on the difficulty of refinement? Good question. Perhaps in your time, Sword Monarch, the effects of a potion proportionally corresponded to its difficulty to refine. However, our times are different. Zhang Li pointed towards Su Wei, see that alchemist named Su Wei. He pioneered a concoction known as a qi absorption pill that requires 81 days of consecration, more than 10 precious primary ingredients, and thousands of supplementary ingredients. Moreover, thunder even descends from the heavens upon its completion. Such an astounding elixir, can you tell me about its effects? It increases the success rate of qi cultivation cultivators reaching the foundation establishment stage by 20%. What? Sword Monarch thought he had heard incorrectly. Given the complex process, he would have believed that it was concocted for a god transformation stage cultivator attempting to break through to the body integration realm. And now you're telling me it's for consumption at the qi cultivation stage. The creation of qi absorption pills is not meant for consumption but to show off his alchemic prowess. The effect of the pill is secondary. The sect master of the medicinal herb sect, Huang Chengdan, then followed suit in rivalry and created a pill that was complex to produce but its effects were no better than drinking plain water. Their spats resulted in the creation of several similar alchemical formulas. Eventually, the alchemy world coined a term, describing the actions of these two. What is it? Pseudo-pill formulas. Quote, on the field, numerous small-scale qi cultivation alchemists displayed their skills, striving to draw attention to their innovative methods of alchemy in front of seasoned experts. This conference, hosted by the medicinal herb sect, provided each contestant with a mindless pill furnace for the competition. However, some went out of the box and did not intend to use the furnaces provided by the medicine herb sect. For instance, Zhang Li caught sight of a small-scale pill master who had taken out a nuclear magnetic stove for alchemy. This nuclear magnetic stove was imported from the Mingzhong world. 10 grams fan leaf flour, 16.8 grams of dried sandworm insert into a needle breaker machine and start pour the powdered medicine into the pot. The small-scale alchemist recited the steps in a monotonous tone, proceeding methodically and surprisingly well. Zhang Li nodded his head slightly. Qi cultivation cultivators have low skill succession, they're not adept at temperature control. This electromagnetic stove is quite convenient. Moreover, alchemists need to multitask, control the flame temperature, and put in the herbs. For cultivators in the qi cultivation stage, this is too difficult. An electromagnetic stove can avoid these issues. Innovative thinking, impressive. On the scene, besides alchemists using electromagnetic stoves, others used rice cookers, nuclear thermal pots, and a series of kitchen utensils imported from the Mingzhong world for alchemy, all with wonderful results. Using these items for alchemy appeared distinct from the overall style of the 9 provinces world. However, the outcomes were as Zhang Li had analyzed, exceptionally brilliant. In the end, the pill furnace won first place, an innately talented orthodoxy came in second and the person using the electromagnetic stove came in third. To note, the one who ranked third in alchemy aptitude was barely satisfactory and only had average skill. The host of the medicinal herb sect nodded his head, satisfied. The third place winner was a disciple from the medicinal herb sect, proving that a lack of natural aptitude could be compensated for using external assistance. What the medicinal herb sect pursued was not the top spot but profitability. Conducting alchemy with electromagnetic stoves and rice cookers significantly reduces the cost of training low-rank alchemists, leading to an increase in medicine production. In the low-end market, alchemy peak will undoubtedly be unable to compete. During the foundation establishment stage competition, a pill master produced something that had never been seen before. Ladies and gentlemen, this is an automatic pill-making machine, a co-development of our Luban sect and a medical corporation from the Mingzhong world. Simply insert the pill ingredients in it, and you get pills. As the pill master spoke, he inserted the ingredients into the machine and, with a slight shudder, the machine coughed out tiny black pills. The speed of pill production exceeded that of any alchemist or pill furnace present. Look, we're producing the foundation establishment pill. The pill-making ingredient utilization is above 40%. If we continue our research, this utilization rate is poised to rise. The elders of the medicinal circle were immensely surprised. A pill ingredient usage rate of 40% was not a bad figure for a foundation establishment stage alchemist. Pure machine production lacks soul. However, some elder alchemists looked down upon this production mode, believing that it detracted from the original intent of alchemy. However, considering that the alchemist engaged in this activity was from the Luban sect, it was clear that his original intent was not quite focused on alchemy. They were only interested in making money. An elder alchemist in the field inspected the pill. It's a very ordinary foundation establishment pill. The advantage is the speed of pill production, and it saves labor. This automatic pill-making machine may spread in the 9 provinces world, which is something that several elder alchemists began to consider. Su Wei looked at the sect master of the medicinal herb sect with great interest, Old Huang, why didn't your medicinal herb sect invent this tool? You've been beaten to it by the Luban sect. Do you think I haven't thought about this method? Although the Luban sect's machine can indeed produce pills quickly, how can it cultivate real alchemists? This machine has a significant limitation: it can't make complex pills. If everyone starts using Luban sect's machine, the number of alchemists will gradually decrease, leading to a shortage of high-level alchemists. Then who would be responsible for the production of high-ranking pills? I let Qi cultivation cultivators use electromagnetic stoves because they don't need to manage the fire during this stage. By the time they reach the foundation establishment stage, their ability to control their fire technique becomes natural. By the golden core stage, they no longer need technological assistance and can continue on the original cultivation route. Although the medicinal herb sect liked winning based on pricing, it still advocated the pursuit of higher levels of alchemy. They felt that over-reliance on automatic techniques could be self-restrictive. Having said that, the sect master of the medicinal herb sect frowned. He considered sticking to one vision as a good thing, but the machine by the Luban sect seriously threatens their market, and he still hadn't thought of a good solution. Let's see how things unfold. The sector master of the medicinal herb sect sighed. Connecting to other worlds and encountering new technologies presents both opportunities and challenges. At the same time, one must stay true to one's heart, it's too difficult. His remarks caught the attention of Su Wei. Chapter 419, Is it not easy to let someone sleep? Just as the sect master of the Lingyao sect had predicted, there were too many elixirs that strongly relied on the material of the pill furnace, the fluctuation of the flame, and the alchemical method. Automatic alchemy machines couldn't meet these standards and could only produce simple elixirs. There was no place for automatic alchemy machines in the top 3 of the foundation establishment stage and golden core stage. When it came to the nascent soul stage and divinity transformation stage, this was truly about pitting one's actual alchemy skills. Alchemists and pill furnaces competed fiercely, cataclysms of alchemy emerged, flares shot towards the sky, and the fragrance of medicine was thick in the air. Jian Jun would frequently nod as he watched this. He learned quite a few things. In the end, the pill furnace won by a narrow margin and the alchemists lost the wind. However, the alchemists were not discouraged, because what ultimately determined whether the alchemists or the pill furnaces were stronger was the competition at the body integration realm. This was the crucial point. Now please welcome Su Wei, the chief of Dao Sect's Alchemy Peak, and the Red Crow Furnace. Su Wei, as a participant, couldn't be the host, so the Great Yang Dynasty sent the 6th prince to assist in the alchemy competition. Next, is the sect master of the Lingyao sect and his pill furnace. As well as 2 elixir refining hermits, Jin Li, Chen Jian, who have secluded themselves for 1,000 years and just emerged from the mountains today. Zhang Li and Jian Jun walked onto the stage acting calm, pretending to be at the body integration realm without blushing. Ordinarily, Jian Jun, being a gentlemanly sort, would have felt embarrassed by this, but having Zhang Li set the precedent, he was resigned to masquerade as a cultivator at the body integration realm. Since the body integration realm can refine too many elixirs, it's not quite fair to determine the victory based on a single match. As per tradition, there will be 3 rounds of competition to decide the winner. Let the competition begin. In the first round, alchemists, who are also apothecaries, have the ability to increase cultivation and heal people with their refined elixirs. The Great Yang Dynasty brought forth a female cultivator. Unlike most female cultivators that Zhang Li had encountered, this one had deep dark circles under her eyes and looked listless, yawning and drowsy, appearing as though she would fall asleep at any moment. This female cultivator's cultivation level has increased quickly due to her dry sun physique. The side effect is difficulty in entering a state of meditation. Achieving peaceful sleep and entering concentration, which most cultivators find easy, is a struggle for her. This cultivator has reached 300 years. According to her, she has seldom had the opportunity to rest peacefully. Although she is always yawning, she can never fall asleep. We ask all the alchemy masters to help this female cultivator fall asleep and rest. Just a reminder, this female cultivator has more than just one issue. Please pay attention while treating her. Su Wei was surprised. A raw sun physique, this is a rare physique. Typically it only appears in male practitioners, and even if they're unable to fall asleep, it's not this serious. As you level up your cultivation, you can slowly control it. But she is a female cultivator, her yin spirit is incompatible with her yang physique, and as her cultivation level rises, this conflict will only intensify and she will find it even harder to sleep. Even Su Wei had not seen such a case before, and could only speculate based on theoretical analysis. Though the situation is rare, it cannot escape the medical principles of the 5 elements. As long as the 5 elements return to balance, all problems can be solved. Su Wei subscribed to the 5 elements world creation theory, believing that the human body, much like the world, embodies the 5 elements. As long as the 5 elements within the body are balanced, disease will not arise. All present bear the pride of an alchemist and believe that they will not be stumped by this alchemy competition, each of them wearing a confident smile. The patient is just one, whoever cures her first, wins. They need to be fast. Body integration realm alchemists show their magic. Incredibly brilliant alchemy methods emerge one after another, even legendary alchemy techniques such as one-hard multitask, hand-refining medicine, formation in the air, 9 dragons gathering fire, make their appearances. The spectators cheer continuously. Zhang Li and Jian Jun exchange a glance, feeling a bit lost. They are not familiar with alchemy and have no idea how superb these demonstrated alchemical techniques are. Should I also perform something? Jian Jun said. When everyone else was demonstrating their divine skills, he felt a bit embarrassed to keep his abilities a secret. Perform what? Like using a sword to split a pill furnace. Quote. Half an hour later, the sect master of Lingyao sect was the first to refine an elixir. Sect Master Huang, can you introduce your elixir? The 6th prince of the Great Sui dynasty stokes the excitement. This pill was created on the spur of the moment. I call it the deep sleep pill. Take one and you can sleep for 10 days, without the chance of waking due to any circumstances. The 6th prince of the Great Sui dynasty thought to himself, doesn't this sound like something harmful? Then it dawned on him that the Lingyao sect started by refining poison, and only later did they respond to the call to go legit. Let us look forward to Master Huang's performance. The sect master of Lingyao sect handed the pill to the female cultivator. Take it, and you'll be able to sleep. She took it and frowned. She then retched and threw it up, continuing to do so. The female cultivator apologized saying, I have a narrow throat, I can't swallow such a large pill. The red crow furnace at the side mocked, Master Huang, you didn't observe closely. No wonder you have always lost to my alchemy child, this cultivator can't take a pill as big as this, it's evident at first glance. Let's see how you intend to resolve this. The sect master of Lingyao sect clenched his teeth in anger. Very simple, I will just turn the pill into a liquid. Next to the red crow furnace floated a mass of medicinal liquid. The female cultivator drained the medicine in one gulp but still looked like she wanted to sleep without being able to. The female cultivator explained, my body has a mix of yin and yang energies, any pill or potion that enters my body will be broken apart, making it impossible for me to absorb the medicinal properties. Red Crow, it looks like your abilities only go so far. You didn't even sense the physical state of the patient. Now it was Su Wei's turn to mock the red crow furnace. As Su Wei lifted his furnace lid, a refreshing scent quickly permeated the arena, making people want to fall asleep. Since she can't consume elixirs, let's use the scent of the elixir to help her sleep. My elixir scent has the effect of calming the heart and solidifying the spirit. It can put crying babies to sleep, and when a cultivator smells it, they will be hard to wake for 3 days. Su Wei placed the elixir beside the female cultivator. The strong elixir scent made her drowsy, but she just couldn't fall asleep. She was so close to falling asleep. As she yawned, she explained, the scent of the elixir is also considered a drug. The scent penetrates into my body and is broken down by the yin and yang energies. I can only absorb a small portion of the medicinal properties. I suggest using a medicinal bath. Baths can absorb the most properties from the medicine. The sect master of Lingyao sect proposed, normal elixirs can't solve the female cultivator's problem, the form of the elixir needs to be changed. What's the use of a medicinal bath? How likely is it to work? Let me handle this. Didn't you hear her say that my elixir scent was a little effective? If I increase the dosage, I can definitely make her sleep. Stop talking nonsense, Su Wei. You are surreptitiously yawning. Don't think I didn't notice that you have also been affected by your elixir. If you increase the dosage any further, as soon as the furnace is opened and the elixir is done, you will be the first to fall asleep. So what's your solution? I am a pill furnace, I don't sleep. Let me refine this elixir which releases the sweet scent. It's clearly my idea, Red Crow Furnace, how dare you confidently claim it as your own? Don't I have the ability to shut off my sense of smell when the den opens? Whilst the two of them were squabbling, Zhang Li came up behind the female cultivator and with one chop of his hand, she collapsed to the ground, unconscious. Why not just do that? Chapter 420, Gathering Chi Pill. Zhang Li's approach defied everyone's expectations. Knocking people out, What's that about? Isn't he an alchemist? Where are the concocted pills? Is he an alchemist or a body cultivator after all? Zhang Li seriously explained. Actually, I took a power pill and a rapid pill, which unexpectedly knocked people out. Standing not far away, Sword Monarch brought his 2 fingers together, using them as a sword, slashing at the female cultivator. He separated the yin-yang energy in her body, and when she awoke, she found that she could freely control her blazing yang body. Everyone was speechless. Although they didn't know if what Zhang Li said was true or not, he indeed did make the female cultivator fall asleep. The 6th prince of the Great Sui dynasty and a group of elders decided to respect the facts. The first round goes to Jin Li. The second round tests the utilization and efficiency of medicinal materials. Here are 10,000 sets of gathering chi pill ingredients. Whoever can concoct the most gathering chi pills in the shortest time wins. The gathering chi pill is a must for every budding alchemist, including the talented Su Wei. Everyone here, as long as they were alchemists, could concoct gathering chi pills. Despite being able to concoct them, the quantity and quality of the pills varied significantly. Not to mention that their opponents were alchemy masters, who also had time restrictions. Being slow in alchemy would eventually lead to a miserable defeat. Gathering chi pill, it's simple, the sect master of the spirit medicine sect said, laughing heartily. Waving his hand, 10,000 sets of gathering chi pill materials were separated by spiritual energy. This casual display of control over spiritual energy and divine sense left the crowd awestruck. The sect master of spirit medicine sect concentrated on alchemy. His 10 fingers flicked, emitting numerous small flame balls, incinerating the gathering chi pill materials. Impurities were separated, medication properties liquefied, and the fragrance of the medication was prominent. Alchemy in the air, and simultaneously refining 1,000 portions. It's worthy of a senior who can compete with Su Wei for the top position in the world of alchemy. The Red Crow furnace wasn't content being overshadowed. It opened its lid, expanded infinitely, swallowed all the raw materials into the pill furnace, and slowly rotated. The transparent furnace body vaguely revealed the changes inside. The Red Crow furnace actually incorporates the power of heaven and earth into the pill. Whoever takes this pill has a slim chance of gaining enlightenment from heaven and earth. This chance is immeasurable for chi cultivation stage cultivators. Some people disagreed, but the chance is too slim, isn't it? There are 10,000 gathering chi pills. If you eat them all, wouldn't you definitely gain enlightenment from heaven and earth? You make a good point. What's that hidden cultivator Chen Jian doing? Someone noticed the Sword Monarch's unusual moves. Alchemy is extracting medicinal properties from ingredients and combining them with other properties to form pills. Generally, alchemists use a pill furnace to bring out the medicinal properties. More capable ones perform alchemy in midair. But nobody had seen anything like Sword Monarch's method. He used a sword to break down the ingredients into invisible particles, forcing out their medicinal properties. As the Sword Monarch danced with his sword, he thrust it forward, seemingly thrusting 1,000 swords simultaneously, leaving everyone dazzled and unable to differentiate between his moves and their afterimages. His sword intent was superb, removing impurities and separating medicinal properties. Is he a sword cultivator? No, why would a sword cultivator come to an alchemy convention? In my opinion, he's a spirit chef. This guy, Chen Jian, must have been sent by the spirit chefs to cause trouble. Look at his swordsmanship, full of killing intent. Doesn't he resemble those beefy spirit chefs wielding their butcher knives? Look, I told you, his killing aura has intensified. But why do I feel like he's looking at you? It must be an illusion. Zhang Li, facing a large amount of raw materials, felt a bit of a headache. Putting people to sleep was easy, but making him concoct pills was challenging. After some thought, he had an idea. I'm finished. I'm done as well. Finished. At the same time, several alchemists declared they had completed their tasks. The sect master of spirit medicine sect was the first to announce, let's take a look at his results. The sect master of spirit medicine sect had chi cultivation pills circling above his head, arranged in various shapes, showing off his achievements. 10,000 chi cultivating pills, perfect pill color, with 3 rings of pill patterns, these are the highest quality chi cultivating pills. Sect Master Huang hasn't wasted anything, his completion rate is 100%. Next is Red Crow Furnace. The Red Crow Furnace opened its mouth, flying out the same 10,000 chi cultivating pills. These chi cultivating pills are the same as those of Sect Master Huang. No, these pills all contain a trace of enlightenment from nature, breaking the limit of the quality of the chi cultivating pills. Wait, there are other pills mixed in these, Brother Red Crow, what are these? Red Crow Furnace proudly said, digestive pills. If someone eats all these 10,000 pills, they are sure to gain enlightenment from nature, but eating 10,000 all at once is too difficult, so I use the impurities to refine several digestive pills to help with digestion. Brother Red Crow, you've thought of everything. Let's see how many Su Wei has refined and whether he has refined as many as Sect Master Huang. Su Wei glanced at the sect master of the spirit medicine sect and said indifferently, I have 10,100 chi cultivating pills. The sect master of the spirit medicine sect was furious, thinking that Su Wei was cheating. Nonsense, how did you come up with these extra 100 chi cultivating pills? Su Wei lightly scoffed, mocking the sect master of the spirit medicine sect's incompetence. The impurities also have medicinal properties. If Red Crow Furnace can use the medicinal properties in the impurities to refine several digestive pills, I can use the medicinal properties of the impurities to refine an extra 100 chi cultivating pills. Incompetent yourself, yet you think others are incompetent. How many chi cultivating pills has the hidden cultivator Chen Jian refined? I only refined 1,000, but the quality of my chi cultivating pills is good. Sword Master said. Good quality, what do you mean by that? The Sword Master took out one of his own chi cultivating pills and placed it into a pile that the sect master of the spirit medicine sect had refined. The Sword Master's chi cultivating pill spurted out sword chi, chopping the ones that the sect master of the spirit medicine sect had refined into scraps. My chi cultivating pill contains sword chi, you could also call it a chi sword pill. Isn't that basically a sword pill? This is a chi sword pill. Is this something chi cultivation stage cultivators should eat? This is a chi sword pill. The sixth prince no longer argued with the sword master about the name of the pill. The bottle's results would be decided by the elders of the alchemy world. He was just a host responsible for creating an atmosphere, and incidentally get acquainted with some alchemists. Let's see how many pills Jin Li, who came with Chen Jian, refined. Jin Li cultivator, where are your pills? The sixth prince was puzzled. There was still that pile of raw materials in front of Zhang Li that hadn't been moved. Had he given up on the competition? Before Zhang Li could speak, a figure rushed over. It was one of the stewards of the Feiyan Commerce Association. The steward handed a storage ring to Zhang Li. These are the 20,000 chi cultivating pills that the guest had urgently ordered, all in the storage ring. Zhang Li handed the storage ring to the sixth prince, who was dumbfounded. 20,000 chi cultivating pills. The sixth prince looked at Zhang Li strangely, but this competition is about who can refine the most chi cultivation pills in the shortest time. Yes, these were made in the shortest time by hiring someone to refine them.